This is for introductions. You can't get a lot of vision. I mean, it should be saying, this is like, doesn't even.
Oh my God, so good. I guess that's good. I think I,
you know. I am not sure. I do. Oh, yes, I finished. Next game. I wish I knew that. Talk to a shed. No. Hey, yes.
Wait. What is there? You know?
I understand.
Well, I was reason.
It's gonna be like sort of like, yeah, ready. Oh, see, that's the.
Do you think that's what I use? You know who does?
I think I might.
Probably Erica. Oh, okay.
Back there.
Give me a little chest like. So. Yeah, I can't take pills. I am esophageal thing. Yeah, everything I take is like this stuff. So I have to say to the doctor. Prescribe me.
Okay.
Baby. Because if they hurt.
Yeah.
It's hard. My goodness.
Right.
I never even heard of that. Yeah. Right, esophagus. That description in there. Wow. It's not fun. Not fun at all. I can take like 5 pills at once. Yeah.
Oh, wait a second, I have accessory also.
I think that's better. Give me a little. Are you that kind of guy? It's amazing. All started all these like added drugs, you know, Advil, Tylenol. Which one's which?
No.
No.
When I had my man bag, like you last, so they're exciting.
You should.
Yeah.
No, you don't.
Mitch has deep body. Yes. No, I just.
This is so great, so organized with these, I love these little cases and stuff.
I just got them. No, they're. Those are Merce.
Oh, man,
It's my bag of search. If you need a charger, so you know where it is.
So when you go out, like, at night,
No, that's when I have my computer.
so, no.
Business.
No, right.
Yeah. Fence phone.
Yeah, it's not bad. Erica. Hey, how are you? Good. Thank you, Erica. You're welcome. You're welcome. I will need to get two more copies. I have 3 people to give them to, but this is perfect. What's the notion? I mean, even published. Something that has to hold aside.
Yeah, missing the 3,153. Percentage compared to this.
You mean you can print it out for us?
She gets.
Oh, okay. I'm pulled up in here.
I don't hope for that.
Just for this. No, I would not do that.
I need it right now.
We have extra minutes, just in case anybody have 2 more.
Showing my list weekly.
Yeah, we found it. Oh, I found it. Thank you. And you guys mind signing this?
So I can take the doors off the zebra now.
Very nice.
Yes.
I have to read this one?
Yeah, I won't go like that on.
Oh, okay.
Cool.
It's a lot of, rain just for a little bit.
They should feel a lot. I don't use. Talking about the voice. Yeah. I don't use it anymore. Because you're just. Right, so. We need a garage. Oh. So, I mean. I appreciate that.
Where is he? Here, he's the one that, yeah.
See, like, I wouldn't understand elevation.
Sir?
Mayor,
Yes.
we have a better of the two attorneys tonight. I was where he's on. I'm starting the meeting.
Okay, got it. Where you right?
That's right. Anytime, I am wrong, so.
Let's see, Erica.
That's what I just passed around. Permission to wear sunglasses. Oh, you know what? I sent that via email. Permission to wear sunglasses.
Yeah.
Got it. Somebody rock. Oh, it's right. Oh, it's ahead of
Hello, I'm gonna start the meeting. Call this meeting to order. Please stand for the pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I wish to announce that the 48-hour notice is required under the Open Public Meetings Act was emailed to the Asbury Park Press, the Co-Star, and the New Co-Star on December the 18th of 2025. That a copy has been placed on the bulletin board in the borough office and that a copy has been filed with the municipal clerk. Please be advised, attendance for public meetings through Zoom is not mandatory and a courtesy only. If for any reason the Zoom portion fails or is disconnected, the in-person meeting will continue without interruption. And action can and will be taken, providing that there is an in-person quorum. Mr. Noble?
Here.
Ms. Greenblatt?
Here.
Mr. Carr?
Here.
Mr. Nowicki?
Here.
Mayor Gubitosi?
Here. Let's see. Good evening, everybody. We have a solid agenda tonight. I think we'll move through it at a pretty good pace. We're starting off probably with our high spot, welcoming a new officer to our ranks in Bradley Beach. So item number 5 on our agenda, I'll draw your attention to, is presentations and bids. And the first item on that is oath of office for probationary police officer Samuel Forgat. So I think I will be leading that oath of office, Chief.
Yeah, want me to introduce?
Please.
Good evening, everyone. My name is James Arnold. I'm the police chief here in Bradley Beach. First and foremost, as always, I want to thank the mayor, the council, the business administrator for your continuous support, your unwavering support of the police department. It really means a lot to us, and just your willingness to listen and understand our needs that we need for the community. So very much appreciate that. With that said, I want to introduce our newest regular police officer, Sam Forgak. Sam came to us 2 years ago as a class 1 at the recommendation of his older brother, Adam, who's here tonight. He was also a class 1 and class 2 for us. He's now a regular police officer in Marlboro. So thank you for the recommendation. You worked out very well. Sam went on to be a class 2 officer. He's been a class 2 for a whole year now. He's been exceptional. He's been well received by his fellow officers. I think he's going to be a great addition to our team. I just want to say welcome aboard and congratulations. Thank you.
Let me see what we've got here, Erica's 2 copies.
2 copies, yes.
All right, so. Normally, Stan, I'm gonna read this and ask you to repeat after me.
Want to get one? Don't need to hold the bottom. Fine.
Yes, yes, and do you have anyone to hold the Bible for you?
Yes. Good evening.
So you will be raising your right hand, putting your left hand on the Bible. Right, please repeat after me. I, say your name, do solemnly swear
I, Samuel Forgak, do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the same
to the same
and to the governments
and to the governments
established in the United States
established in the United States
and in this state
and in this state,
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
that I will faithfully,
that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly perform
and justly perform
all the duties
all the duties
of a probationary police officer
of a probationary police officer
for the Bradley Beach Police Department,
for the Bradley Beach Police Department,
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
And that is complete, sworn and subscribed before me this 19th day of May, 2026. So. Thank you. I just want to, yeah, let's.
Probably just gonna put his badge on.
Okay, great. We get a badge, saying it's all. No. Very, those 3 years. Sam, we need you to.
He knows he needs to give a 10-minute speech now?
So we need you to sign one of the things, and then if you want to make a couple of comments. Would you care to make a comment?
Yes, first of all, I'd like to thank the mayor, the council, chief for giving me this opportunity at such a young age. I'm very grateful. I want to thank all the patrolmen for helping me get here, teaching me your skills. Most importantly, my family for supporting me through all this, and my brother for being my role model. Correct, yes. Thank you guys, all of you.
Now, as I said, that'll probably be the highlight of the evening. Anyone who's here for that swearing in, feel free to leave. And then for those of you who are gluttons for punishment and are gonna stay for the rest of the meeting, we will continue to. Thank you. No, I'm going to do it.
Okay. Nothing was on say before.
We have resolution 2026-145 appointing of our probationary police officer Samuel Forgat. And I will make a motion that we approve resolution 2026-145.
Second,
Mr. Noble,
yes.
Ms. Greenblatt,
Yes.
Mr. Cart,
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki.
Yes.
Mayor Gubatose.
Yes. All right, the next item on presentations and bids is actually a presentation on a digital beach. And I believe this gentleman is going to lead us.
Thank you. My name is Kevin Bright. I'm from My Beach Mobile.
Just spread.
By the podium.
So just, Mayor, 30 seconds of background. Councilman, Mitch Cart was the one who, brought this idea to my attention. I reached out to this company. They provide, digital beach access. I vetted them with other towns up and down the Jersey Shore. The one people may be familiar with is Ventnor, which is just south of Atlantic City. They now are 100% digital beach, using the services of this company. So I asked them to come make a presentation to the mayor and council tonight.
We have a slideshow. Is it Michelle?
Yes.
Can hear me? Can I? Here we go. All right. Thank you. Get it up there.
Wizard.
And you gotta go back, please, to slide 1 or 2 rather. There you go, one more, that's it. Okay, so thank you, everyone, for your attention, and I'm gonna be as quick as possible. I don't want to make this any longer than possible, than necessary rather, but Yeah, we are My Beach Mobile. We are a digital beach. I call them tags. I apologize. I'm from the south. I'm not, and it's beach badges up here, I believe, right? So if I say tags, just understand that, just accept my apology from the outset. But we are basically the digital beach badge provider in New Jersey right now. We are an app called My Beach Mobile. I guess for better or worse, your phone is a part of your life in this day and age, and even going to the beach. I think most people, as the icons show, if you're gonna go to the beach, you're gonna, use your Park Mobile app to pay your parking. You're gonna maybe listen to some music on Spotify, the Kindle. And so the idea is that the beach badges should be just as convenient and accessible for people going to the beach. So next slide, please. So what we are is a digital app, and it's a proprietary app that allows users to buy and use beach badges on their mobile device. They are obviously, there are many advantages to them, being the fact that they're digital and they're on your device. You can't lose them, you can't misplace them. If you bring in your phone to the beach, which probably most people do, you're not going to forget them at home, which is nice. So it's just really a very simplified process. Removes the necessity of showing up in person and picking up your badges and et cetera. So it's obviously environmentally friendly. It's safe, convenient, and secure, and it just sort of simplifies the whole process. So next slide, please. So some of the benefits are, we'll kind of go through, there's a video further along that shows how the app actually works, but a couple of the benefits are that it's fraud resistant. So we have a system in place that I'll show you in a minute, where the screen, prevents screen recordings and screenshots. Because obviously, if you're using a QR code for something, one of the concerns a lot of towns have is, can somebody just screen record this, or can somebody screenshot this and send it to their friends? So we have technology to prevent that. We are built for beaches. I don't know if everybody remembers Viply. They were a company that was around for a while. They're an app. They were made more for like general admission, and they sort of adapted that model to beaches, and they were pretty prevalent up and down the coast here in New Jersey, but they weren't made for beaches. They sort of like shoehorned the towns and beach badges into their existing app. We built this app specifically for the purposes of making beach badges digital, and also facilitating the sale of physical tags, which I'll talk about in a moment. And the best benefit probably for everyone here is that it's no municipal cost. So it doesn't cost the town anything at all whatsoever. The way the app works is we charge a small fee on top of the cost that we transfer to the town for the badges. Next slide, please. So presently we are in 10 beach towns. We started this about 7 years ago, so it's right around 2019. Long Beach Township was our first town. We've been in that town. This is, I think, our 4th season there. And we've slowly added towns along the way. I think the most recent town is Brigantine, which just signed on this year. But we have, obviously, pretty good track record. We've been in business for 7 years, and it did take us a while to get our first town. So we've had business for about, this is our 4th season going to it now. Next slide, please. And so here are some of I was talking about anti-fraud and security measures. The one measure that we use is an IME detection system, and that basically prevents users from sharing their login credentials, which I think Netflix had the issue with that. Basically, what it does is the app will record the IMEI number from the device you log in on, and then you are allowed to log in on a separate device if, for example, you get a new phone. But what happens is the original device gets locked within the database, and so you can't, if you share your credentials to a different device, that's permitted, but you can't then log back in on the original device. So it's a little, a little bit of a peace of mind that you're not going to get people sharing badges, by just sharing your login credentials. So it's another sort of fraud prevention. We use what's called Stripe, which is our back-end payment processing service. They're the biggest in the world. We don't actually handle the funds. We pass all of the information from the app through Stripe's third-party API. Stripe then takes the transaction If the town decides to sign up, you would have a bank account through Stripe, you would have a back-end portal that you can access. You can see all the data in real time, and Stripe will route that money to your account and then route our fee to our account, and we never touch your money. We don't have access to it, and you can see everything happen in the back end. So it's kind of a trustless system backed up by Stripe, as I mentioned, is the biggest payment processor in the world. The dynamic in-app verification, so I talked about before, and we'll look at that in a minute, basically prevents screenshots. And so unlike like a web-based platform where you can just screenshot or you can, forward an email, this is a much more complicated and complex system designed to keep everybody honest and prevent, people from trying to get around the system. Next slide, please. Some of the features are that it is offline capable. You do need internet to buy your beach badges, but once you have them on your phone, you don't need internet to use them. So it's designed to work even if there's not internet available at the time of use. We have an animated QR code, which we're going to look at in a minute, which is part of the prevention of doing screenshots. And we offer full training and support. And so when we sign a town on, we will show up either in person or over Zoom. We can train your beach badge checkers so they understand, how the app works and what they should be looking for. It's very simple, but we obviously are, around, we're local. We're all from South Jersey, but we're not, in some other country. We're here. We're here to help and offer support as we go forward. As I mentioned, this is built for beaches. It was founded by people right here in New Jersey. Next slide, please. All right, so this is actually showing the beach badge screen. So you can see that you're able to have multiple badges on one device. In this example, there's 2. You can have 4, and you just swipe back and forth between them. It's a QR code, and the button at the bottom says hold to animate. And so when you're showing your QR code to the beach badge checker, you just hold that button down, and you'll notice that there's an animation that occurs. It goes over the actual QR code. Again, that prevents people from screen recording or screen sharing because it has to interact based upon the button press. The QR code is scannable. There's a scanning feature in the app. So if you have another phone, you can scan that. It'll query the database and then say whether or not the pass is valid. However, it's not really necessary because of the fact that if they can get to this screen and show a QR code within the app and it responds when you press the button, that's evidence in and of itself that the pass is valid. Next slide, please. So the app also has the capability to do transferring of beach badges, and some towns like this and other towns don't like this. Some towns take the position that their beach badges are not transferable, even though you can, just hand a piece of plastic to somebody else. So we built the app to be like an actual beach badge. So we figured if beach badges can be handed out, you should be able to buy, 6 of them on your device and 2 to your kids, 1 to your wife. And the way it works is it does not allow 2 people to access the same badge at the same time. So once you transfer that badge to somebody else, it's no longer accessible under your account. It'll show in your account as being transferred, which is that middle tab on top. It's a little hard to see, but you won't be able to actually access the QR code. The person that you send it to will get an email. They'll click on the link in the email, and then they'll be bring up the app if they have it, and they'll be brought to the either Apple or Google store, and they'll download the app, and then those badges will be on their device for the duration of the share. And we can select a different length of time for the share. So if you have a seasonal, and again, this is all configurable and subject to whatever the town, desires. But if you have a seasonal badge, you can send it for, like, say, a week to your friend who's using your shore house, or somebody's renting your shore house or whatever. You can transfer them. You can set an end date, and then once that end date expires, the badge will come back to your account and it will no longer be available on their account. And then could you I think there's a play button over the phone. If you could just move the arrow up and hit the play button. Michelle, we lose you. There we go. Go up, hit that play button for me. Nope. Go back to the last slide. Sorry. Then go up to the actual QR code on the device. There we go. Yeah. So this is the share screen. So, and it goes kind of fast, I apologize, but basically, you walk through, you click in which tag you want to share, you put the start date and the end date, you enter the email address, you click transfer, and it's done. You get a pop-up. It does warn you, look, if you transfer this, it's going to be unavailable for the duration that you select, but then it goes to the other person's device. So it's pretty simple. It's a few fields you fill out, you click transfer, and it's pretty much done. Next slide, please. Okay, so I also mentioned that we can, Matt is correct, the vendor is 100% digital. We've had some towns that do that. We don't have to be 100% digital. People still like to get their, plastic tags and something like that and everything. So we don't have to supplant the existing system. We can be a complement to that system, just to give people who want to use the app an opportunity to do so, but not, therefore removing somebody else's who wants to use, wants to buy a physical beach badge. And we can actually facilitate the sale of beach badges in the app, of physical beach badges. And the way that works is, as you can see on the screen here, you'll buy them in the app, and then there's a drop down. Do you want a digital or do you want a physical? If you select physical, there'll be a pop-up that says, you're buying a physical beach badge, you have to pick it up in the location where it has to be. And then when they go to the pickup location, so they'll come in to pick up their tag, they'll show this screen. It basically, the message there basically says, don't press the activate button until you're ready to pick up. So if you've ever used like a coupon at Wawa, where you click on the coupon in the app and you have like a certain amount of time to use it, this is the same situation. So basically, once you're at the pickup location, you'll just show the person who is giving out the beach badges, the screen. You click the button that says, I am at the pickup location. You'll click the activate button, and that will confirm, and then you'll see a QR code, which will be animated, confirming that, and that this is in fact a valid beach badge purchase. You can see in this example, there's two. There could be as many, and you swipe between them, just like you would with a QR code. So basically, we call this a live receipt. And like I said, it's basically a way to verify that somebody has purchased a physical tag. Once they click that activate button, the thing goes away. They don't have it on their phone anymore. They get the badges and then they leave, and that's it. Obviously, in the back end database and Stripe, you'll see the records associated with it. So it's all still there, but they won't be able to come in the next day with the same thing and use it again. It's a one-time use thing, basically. Next slide, please. So obviously, there's a couple benefits. We can do different badge types. We can customize the prices and the rules in terms of like the transfer feature I mentioned. Some towns don't want it, some towns do. Some towns want limitations on how long certain badges can be transferred for, et cetera. So we can work with the town on that. We do it all the time. It's a very simple system in terms of like inventorying. It's much simpler, especially if they're digital, than what we've seen in towns that we are in right now, and how those accountings are set up, sort of on the back end. And again, as I mentioned, there's no cost. So it all comes down to the user paying the fee, and it doesn't cost the municipality anything. Beachgoers like it because it's convenient. The pricing is transparent. We have, real-time customer service, and it expands the options. So there are people like me who I'm the kind of person, I grew up, with a phone. I always wanted everything on my phone, but I understand there's people who maybe they still want their actual physical badge, and they can still either use the app to buy that, or you can still offer them via whatever the existing system is in this town to buy them. And so if you sign up, we'll basically have a meeting with, usually it's the administrator and the finance officer. And, we'll set up the back end. We'll go over the whole system and how it works. It's very, very secure. We have, like I said, on-site support, and we can help you with some marketing to try to increase. I mean, obviously our benefits are aligned with yours, or our motivations are aligned with yours, because we want to sell as many badges as possible, and you do as well, right? So the more sort of cross-marketing we can do, the better. We have a pretty well-established Facebook and some social media pages that we, post on those regularly, try to, encourage people to use the app, but also just generally buy, the beach badges. Next slide, please. So basically, what sets us apart, we're at this point the only app that does beach tags, beach badges, sorry, in New Jersey. It's the most secure app on the market. We have as I went over, all the fraud and security features, and everything works offline. We can customize it for you. We have very responsive customer service. That's Carolina, and I understand you've had many interactions with her. She's great. And we've been in business for 6 years, and we've been developing and improving the app along the way. We obviously update it frequently, so that's a good thing. And we're local, so we're in New Jersey, and I guess last slide, please. So join us in revolutionizing she said, the Carolina put this together, she said beach tag, I would put that, but anyway, I try to call them passes, because that's like neutral. But that's the presentation. So does anyone have any questions, or is there anything I can answer for anybody? Yep.
So, I'm sorry,
No, good.
you mentioned there's a fee, so basically anyone who purchases it will pay a credit card fee, which now is pretty much standard for anything you purchase. As well as a fee for, what is your fee?
Yeah, so it depends on how much the beach badge costs. Basically, we pay 2.9% plus 30 cents for every transaction that Stripe processes for us. So we pass that along to the customer, and then we add a fee on top of that. And our fee, and I don't know off the top of my head, but I can send to Matt the fee schedule. We just changed it this season, and it's the same thing. It's a flat, it's a percentage and then a flat amount. I want to say it's actually the same. It's 2.9% plus 30 cents, but I'm not 100% sure on that, but we can
So
set it.
on a $14 daily pass.
So on a,
We would be putting it now on the beachgoers to pay the fee along with the credit card fee for.
yeah, well, our fee, so the fee we charge is inclusive of the credit card fee, so basically we're taking part of that, paying Stripe the process, and then we're keeping part of it. So it all comes out of our fee basically, but yes, it's being paid by the.
Only one, generally one fee. It's not your fee plus a credit card fee.
Because the law in New Jersey says you have to separate it for people if you're charging a credit, we do separate it so they can see exactly we're paying, this amount of third-party processing fees is how it's displayed, and then we have our fee under that. But it's, but basically it's one fee to use the app. It's just broken out separately, I guess. And I can tell you what that would be. I'm just gonna bring up the app right now on my phone.
And I do have a second question for you.
Yep, let me just. All right, let me just do we'll do a Margate. So it's $10. So on a $10, and this is because I'm using Margate and they have $10. It's My Beach Mobile fee is 73 cents, and then third party fees are 63 cents. So the total is $11.36. So the total fee is $1.36.
Right, for one pass.
Yes,
Right. So the other question I had is, when someone goes to the beach with their purchased electronic pass.
Yep.
It's a QR code that they show to the badge checker,
Correct, yep.
and so then the badge checker needs a device of some sort?
No, they are scannable, and basically that's in the event there's any question, it's sort of like a backup. But when you have it on your phone, basically the QR code will pop up. And they'll hold the button down that says hold to animate, and that will cause like a line to go down and animate the QR code. And so once they show that, they're in the app and it's responding to the touch input on the phone, it proves that the pass is valid, because they can't get to that screen to show that unless. So in other words, if you buy a beach badge for tomorrow and it's today, if you go to the beach, you can't access it. You can only access it tomorrow, and then after tomorrow it goes away. Same thing for weeklies. Obviously, seasonals are good the whole time, but basically, as long as they can show that QR code and show it animate when they press that button, that's the self-authenticating feature of the app, and that proves that it's valid. That's valid.
And we charge different rates. Oh, no, I guess we only for the seasonal for seniors and. When we have different rates, is that somehow identified? Because now you can also share. Whereas with a beach badge, you can see a senior tag versus an adult tag. There's a difference in color.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, so they will be indicated on the device, and Margate sells, and Ventnor does, a couple beaches, they sell senior tags. And in terms of the physical ones, if you're buying a physical one you have to pick up, we just have it pop up in the app that says you have to present photo ID at the time of pickup to make sure that you're a senior, then you get it. There's a digital one, they look different in the app. But there's, you know, a lot of people are bringing their ID to the beach, so it's kind of a little bit more of a tricky situation with the digital badge than it is with the physical one. But Bargate has been doing it and it hasn't, you know, caused any issues.
So if I wanted to jump the system and buy all senior badges, let's say, and I'm not of senior age, and then I want to share them with other people. The
Well-
beach badge checker would not really know if it was a senior badge or not.
No, they would know because it would be different within the app, just like it would be different if it was a physical, right? But it's up to the checker at that point to determine the age of the person trying to use it, just like it is presently.
Okay.
Yeah.
Other questions?
Those were my questions.
I just, in general, I mean, it's somewhat obvious, but your experience of your customers so far, what has been their savings and benefit to them for going to the system?
I mean, I can't really 100% speak to that, but I could say that it's just the convenience of having it on your phone. I mean, we've been in business for this, like I said, we're starting on, I think, our 4th season. So we have 3 seasons. We've done like $1.7 million in the app so far across. So people like the app and they want to use it. We have good reviews on Apple and Google Play. You know, it's a great question, and unfortunately, we don't have we don't have a good method of getting user feedback. I wish I could answer it more specifically.
You should ask your customers for that feedback, because, you know, the obvious one are, you know, our front window doesn't have to sit there and sell
Yeah.
badges.
Right.
Nobody down at the beach collecting fees and having cash in the window.
Oh, you mean for the town?
For the town.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you meant for the actual.
Oh, no, for the town.
Oh, sure. Well, yeah, that's for the town. I mean, one of the biggest benefits is you don't have people on the beach with lots of money in their pockets and, you know, have to like. A lot of towns do it differently, how they account for money that's being sold, you know, for badges. Some towns do badges like right on the beach. If you show up, the checkers have them and it's cash and here you go. And then they have to somehow account for that on the back end. With our app, everything is digital, right? It all goes through the back end. So there's really no, it's really not an issue.
We don't need any armored cars, like taking
Right, that's
them
what
from
I'm
the.
saying.
Yeah.
And it's our savings.
Yes.
Now to do this.
Yeah, sure. It's also free. I mean, there's just no cost. It's just, and it doesn't have to replace the existing system. I think that's important because a lot of people are just resistant to digital anything at this point. I totally understand that and they want it, but this is not about replacing the existing system. This is just offering people who come to your beach another option if they would, you know, so.
And then the accounting of it all, of course, you get your own reports directly from.
Stripe. So if you sign up, we will go over it with you, but you'll sign up through Stripe's website. You'll put in the bank account information for where you want the funds sent to. There's obviously a lot of other information they gather. Then you'll have your own password and your own username and everything. And we don't even have access to that. And so that will show you on there. And you can export all the data. There's Excel spreadsheets. There's, you know,
So
accountants.
so our badge checkers or salespeople are walking, you know,
Yeah,
with bags of coins.
yeah. No, this eliminates that. So that's.
And just to give you an idea, Councilman, I distinctly remember last year, we had a great weekend. And we had a bag of cash of $72,000.
Right.
It's crazy.
But a cheap artist still right there.
And all that has to be accounted for. So it does help on the finance side. It makes accountants much happier to have a system like this. It makes CFOs much happier, auditors much happier. And also talking with the municipalities, particular vendor, you know, where they see the cost savings. It's not huge, but there's a cost savings. Now you don't need to buy the badges. You don't need to buy maybe do wristbands for dailies, things like that. You don't have to buy any of that. So there's a savings in the physical things that we need to purchase now that every town has been purchasing for decades. That all started. And this eliminates all that. I will also tell you, procurement wise, and I explained to them that we would have to go out through the proper procurement channels for something like this. But one thing that, if the council would be interested in, one thing I thought we could do for this summer was a little pilot. And just see how it works, see how people feel about it. You know, see how our beach badge checkers are at looking at the animated screen. But you know, if you go to any movie, concert, it's all on your phone. Everything is on your phone nowadays. Sharing it is easy. And again, we could, you know, policy decision by the council. Should we allow people to share? Should we not allow people to share? They can turn that on or turn it off, depending on whatever the policy decision of the council and the mayor is.
And you could actually just use it for daily badges and not
Yeah,
seasonal if you
You do
want.
just daily badges.
Yeah, we're happy to do. We used to offer that before we had any. Long Beach Township they were the first ones to sign up, so we were always like very grateful to them because it was very hard to get kind of signed up when you didn't have any towns, as existing customers. But we always offered that, if you limited pilot program, if you want to limit it to like 1,000 badges or whatever, we can definitely do that. We just turn it off after the number of badges gets reached, and everybody can make sure that get their feet wet and see if how they like it, and then there's obviously no obligation. So that's nothing we consider. But we think, and you can reach out to the other towns. I think they have good things to say about us. So we don't really get a lot of complaints. We get some inquiries, but we don't really get complaints. So, and the app is, going on the 4th season now. We've never had an issue like a technical glitch within the app where we could, something, catastrophic happened. It just doesn't happen. It's not a lot of business. It's held up well, and it's been flawless. So it's set up very well, and it's been working great, and it's a very robust system.
So are there other questions from the council?
Just one more. So if someone shows up and they say, I want to get on the beach for today, oh, you have to go all the way down to the booth. They can buy it right there and then be like, I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
Okay,
I envision it a lot more for the daily badges.
right.
That's what I was talking to Matt about, because there are people who like the physical badge, like the annual badges there. So many people who collect them, so we could actually offer like a package, like get a digital, and by the way, you'll get a physical badge as well. My one question would be in the enforcement side. Right now, we have certainly going through the gate is the same, whether or not somebody's looking for something on your wrist or you're holding them, you're just holding it on your phone. I also think that more people forget their badges as they tie them to their backpack when they go to the bathroom, because everybody's taking their phone with them to the bathroom.
Right.
So they always have them. But on the beach, as people like our seasonal officers are walking and they're just checking things out. Yeah, I see that person has a daily badge. They won't be able to see that because there's not going to be something physical.
Like physical on the,
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that's a reality. They have to bring up their phone. Now, again, you can't have multiple, badges on your phone. So it's a quick, swipe through and they see 5 and they swipe through 5 and they're done. So, that is an issue, in terms of, that is a benefit of the physical tags, that are badges that we, unfortunately you have to bring up the phone. But, it's not, as Matt was saying, like, you go to movies, you go to the Eagles game, or sorry, maybe Giants. Whatever your state Jets, I don't know. Whatever your, this is what I think everybody's kind of used to it by now. So the way this whole idea came about, I have 2 there. It's kind of weird to say, they're 12 and 15 now, but at one point my 2 boys were little, and I think my youngest one was like 3 years old. Where I took them to Ocean City, and we have beach badges, we call them tags, and I bring them, and I forgot to bring them. It was just me and my wife had a headache or whatever. She stayed home. And I get there, I get set up, and I get the blanket out, all the toys and stuff, and I see the checkers, and I'm like, oh my God, no. I'm like, I have to pack them all. We had gone to Wawa, we had our stuff like ready to go. And so I thought I should be able to buy this on my phone. Instead, I put my head down, feel like I was sleeping, and I think the checkers like took pity on me because they felt bad for me and just walked by. But look, I would have bought them if I could have, but I couldn't because I needed cash. I had no cash on me, and I, obviously got to go back to Wawa and get money out of the ATM, which when you have 2 little kids like that is not very ideal. So it's just really meant to be more convenient, and again, at no cost to the town, and I think it's a very big benefit for the end user, and I think it certainly justifies the sort of nominal cost.
And also it's part of the trend to get away from cash. So, last year we instituted Park Mobile for maybe 100% of the beachfront. That had a couple hiccups here and there, but overall, right, Chief, there was, it was easy enough to enforce, and people by and large were compliant because it's something that they do in other beach towns as well. We're not the only beach town to have something like this. And I think, there's gonna be more and more of the trend going forward. And it just helps us again to move away from the bags of $72,000 in cash. And again, just in the process for that, the police have to get involved and they bring it here and we count it and get back to the police, and then they have to go to the bank and deposit it. It's just a very arcane way of managing the town's finances.
So I have questions, but any other questions from the council? No. Couple quick questions.
Sure.
One, I know you kind of put yourself on the spot when you were calculating the charges. But just the quick math, as I want to make sure I understood it, $10 badge, you had $1.36 addition. That sounds like a lot more than 2.9% plus 30 cents. I was just wondering, does your phone tell you how that breaks down? Because I thought it would have been more like,
I'm literally looking at the app and it just has a line item for each of them.
what's the 2.9%?
And includes a credit card fee, right?
Yeah, so
2.9%.
I have my readers back. It's yeah, so $10. So our fee is 73 cents. So
Oh, so it's more than 30 cents. You were saying 2.9 plus 30, I thought.
2.9% on the transaction plus 30 cents is what we pay for. So that would be the 63 cents. Because that's what the third party processing fees are. And then ours is 73 cents. So ours is slightly more. Yeah, I could send to Matt, we can send in the whole
Yeah.
schedule, break it down, show exactly what it is. I just don't know off the top of my head, unfortunately, we have changed them. And this is like the late, before it was a whole much more complicated system, where it's based upon the amount, it was a certain percentage, obviously a higher percentage on a lower, but as you got higher in cost, the percentage went down because, you know, you're not gonna charge. Like 20% on a $10 transaction is $2, but you don't want to charge 20% on a $100 transaction. So we try to figure out a way to make it so that
Sliding scale.
it's more of a sliding scale.
I mean, I think all of us, I think I can say unanimously, we'd love to move away from cash.
Yeah.
The more we can, the better. We also have residents, especially seniors, who will never move away from cash. So I imagine we're more of a candidate to have some sort of a, you know, hybrid approach. But, so a lot of what you're saying is very appealing to me. You haven't mentioned it, but I presume this also really helps folks who have lost their season badges. Now, it's easy to identify yourself that, I don't know if they lost their phone or something, they can recapture that via, you know, whatever's on the,
Yeah, they could just log in on their new
Cloud.
phone and they'll have access to all of their existing, but it is a good point because I can, another personal like anecdote for me, but you know, my father-in-law rents a house down in Ocean City for a week and it comes with beach tag, which is for sale. And then, you know, people were sharing the house, but took them home by accident, had to drive all the way back down and drop them back off, you know, so this would eliminate that as well.
I think the thing that I'm personally gonna wanna understand better
Yep.
are the additional fees, because right now it's more than a 10% bump. It's like a 13-14% bump over the $10. So go from 10 to 11.36.
Well, it's 11, it's basically 11% because it went from 10 right to 11.36. But keep in mind, part of that is because there's that initial 30-cent bump, which is gonna hit a,
No, understood.
yeah,
I understood. And even with the typical 30 cents, 29 cents, whatever it is on a $10 badge that you've got for a credit card, you know, everybody that's using a credit card is gonna pay that.
yeah.
It's your additional fees I'd like to better understand, because if your additional fees are roughly 10%, in our world, that's close to $20,000, because we have almost 200,000 of beach badge sales total.
Right,
Whereas our badges cost us a couple of thousand.
yeah.
So I just need to do that math to make sure we're not passing too much onto the consumer.
Yeah, I will send that information to Matt. I just put in so at $40, our fee is $2.06. The third party fees are $1.56, so it's roughly, you know, so $43.62. So it's $3.62 on the total on a $40 transaction.
So we could probably get, Matt, we can work with these guys to just get that
Yeah,
sliding scale
send
fee
you-
structure.
Yeah, that's not, it's just something I don't know off the top of my head. Like I said, I think it must be very close to the 2.9% plus 30 cents, because that's,
Because remember, the
$2.
charge for them and for the what do you call it, the credit card company is per transaction, it's not per badge. So you, like you mentioned, you buy 4 or 6 badges, the percentage goes down because it's
yes, because of the initial the initial transaction cost that's tied to that 30 cents. You know, that's a much bigger deal if it's a, you know, a dollar transaction than if it's a $40 transaction.
The final question I have.
Yeah.
You mentioned you automatically transfer the funds to a beach bank account that the boroughs have established.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, Stripe, our payment processor does that, and yes,
Okay.
that goes directly to the bank, yeah.
Do you know, working through Stripe, are you also able to feed financial reporting systems? Like in our case, we use Edmunds. A lot of municipalities happen to use Edmunds, but do you know, is there some sort of a automatic transfer to the financial reporting system of the activity?
I know that you can download spreadsheets. You talk about the data, not like, not. the
Yeah,
actual-
if we had, $10,000 of badge sales
Yeah.
that day, and the money shows up in our bank account,
You reconcile.
but is there an electronic feed to or can we create an electronic feed to our financial reporting system? You know the answer?
The answer is yes, they have, Edmunds has APIs for that, and so does Stripe. So it's just somebody who's technical, who understands the API connections to be able to transfer that information.
Appreciate it. So that's not.
And
That's
you
why I
are-
love mine.
And you're only badges. For example, we also have a current vendor who handles our badges, also handles our beach lockers. If there were other activities of us selling, renting, collecting money from beach related activities, do you go beyond badges?
You can, I mean, so right now we do the shuttle in Long Beach Township, Long Beach Island Shuttle. They're all done through our app, and then we've also done like boat ramps. We've done, we've done a couple other things like that. We don't get a lot of revenue from that, they're not really used very frequently for those things. The shuttle actually does get used a lot, but it's a very cheap shuttle, so it doesn't, it's not a big in terms of like dollars. It's not very significant, but a lot of transactions. Yeah, we could definitely talk about that and see if we could incorporate it. Yeah, that's not a problem.
So as Mr. Doherty said, we'll consider this a little further.
Sure.
We may look into a pilot in the course of the summer. And if we do anything more formally, we'll have to do an RFP, but thank you very much for your time tonight. I
No
appreciate
problem.
it.
Thank you. I appreciate it time. Thank you. I'll be in touch with you. That's good.
Go Mass.
All right, moving to the next item on our agenda, our workshops, item 6. And Mr. Bennett Matlack will be presenting.
Give me 1 second. Zoom in a little bit on this. Easy to read.
And as you set this up, do you know if folks on Zoom will be able to see the?
Yes.
Yeah, he's sharing it now.
Perfect, thanks.
Okay. So that was very exciting, and hopefully this one will be just as exciting, driving the police oath. But we're here to talk about the borough's municipal public access plan. It's a plan that is required for every municipality in New Jersey. It provides a plan that determines access to all public facilities. In the borough's case, you have parks, the beach, your lakes, and this plan describes how they are accessed. And it needs to be updated every 5 years. The last one was updated in 2019. So the DEP is the entity that reviews these plans. They asked that it be updated. So we're here to talk about that. One of the requirements is to have a public hearing. So we're here to discuss this. And I'm going to pass it over to Austin Bazook from my office, who prepared the update. He's going to go over a couple of things that we changed and some of the proposed improvements that are coming in the future. And Austin, take it away.
Sure. Good evening, everyone. My name is Austin Zook. So as Ben described, this gives an overview of the public access to primarily the borough's beach. It details each access point in the borough and some of the amenities that are provided at each access point. Your ADA accessibility, your Moby mats, showers, restrooms. So what we did this, so the borough has a MPAP currently, which as Ben said, requires to be updated every 5 years. This update, the reason for the updates is because the coastal zone management rules that the DEP has out, requires compliance with the MPAP when they issue permits. So for example, your beach work, most of the time you'll require like a CAFR permit. And that they won't issue that unless you're in compliance with the municipal public access plan. So a big part of this update is to capture any future improvements that may need a permit. So that way, when the state does get up to reviewing, that you're already in compliance with your municipal public access plan. So some of the updates we provided were new GIS 8.5 by 11 maps. Previously they were, a little not full page. So with this, we went through and we added all of the Moby mats, your new ramps, stairs, showers along the waterfront, as well as your handicap parking along the waterfront. Another portion of this update is to try and figure out, is to determine the community needs. Are there needs for more public access to the beachfront? Are there ways to improve your public access to the beachfront? So we did a little bit of analysis. Since the borough is only about a mile in length, the access points are sufficient. There's 12 physical access points to the beach, more to the promenade along the waterfront. I think there was 14 or 15 directed to the promenade, which also provides access to the beach, but not physically to ascend. So this map shows the 12 physical access points directly to the beach. And then there was a couple other maps that we made. This is the most detailed map, so that's why we're going to share this one. But we did prepare, just an overview map showing your tidal waters being the Atlantic Ocean, and the lakes that are on the north and south of the borough. And then a Green Acres map, which shows all the Green Acres property in the township and in the borough that's on the route. Other than the map, we did improve some of the language in the document itself to more align with the coastal zone management rules and the state's outline of beach management plans. Municipal public access plans. So there's some language updates. This year, actually, the state adopted a new set of coastal regulations. So that was another part of this update. And then, that's pretty much it for the document. And then we also, added in, we had a meeting with Matt and the mayor and Paul, to discuss some of the future improvements that we're going to include in this update. So those were also added to it. That includes the Sylvan Lake and Bradley Boulevard improvements, road improvement programs, new ADA drop-offs for the beach, restrooms, improvements at the rec center. And basically the reason for, as I mentioned before, including all these updates is that in the future, when these do finally start moving forward and you do need permits from the state, that you're already compliant with the rules and MPAP. To give you another example, we included the Sylvan Lake Improvements Project because that potentially alter the boulevard. You want to change your parking, and then that changes your access to the beach because now you have more parking spaces or less parking spaces for the improvements. So that's really the goal of adding these updates. As Ben said, these are required to be updated every 5 years. To to the council or anything additional the borough wants to do for updates on the projects that were in the previous version, just so the state is able to keep track and make sure that everything's up to date. We also included the promenade extension, so that permit, actually just got yesterday. Permit was in compliance with BMPAP, and there's no issues. That's all I got on the actual updates. If you guys have any questions or comments.
Questions or comments?
Actually, just one, I know it talks about handicap access. Does it need to specify the number of handicap parking?
No. So right now we show handicap parking in the street in the general vicinity of the handicaps. We don't have to tell them how many actual spots there are.
What about the bathrooms? Do they need to be any certified?
So there's no like requirement on the state level. If the borough wants to add more restrooms, then that's something that we would incorporate into the plan. That way, when you get to building the restroom on the beach, you're in compliance with regulations. So right now we have all the restrooms that are existing along the waterfront are shown on this map.
Also, isn't the new restroom that is the old pump station that we are currently converting?
Yes.
Is it denoted as a new facility?
Yep. So that's also included on there. It's not one of the it's not one of the call outs because it doesn't give you direct access to the beach. But there is we do have an icon there for the restrooms at Evergreen.
And we have a description about it. There's a whole written report about that makes up the municipal public access plan. And we describe the new restroom facility concession stand in that report.
What about the ADA compliance related to the rec center? To access the rec center?
So we included that as well, but this document really focuses primarily on the beach access. But as Ben said about the restrooms, we did include the rec center in the document as well, and a little description on what improvements will happen at the rec center. Make sure that just to capture all public access to the borough.
So when this goes to the DEP, do they typically start to challenge or question some of the added elements that have been, for instance, the removal of parking on Bradley Boulevard?
So they'll have a chance to review and comment on it. I don't know if they argue about it because at the end of the day, the DEP is going to review it, but the borough's got to decide. And so does the state. So it's I don't think there's going to be much pushback on proposed improvements, but there is the opportunity for the state to comment on them.
And one of the things that we did include in the report is that while the borough wants to remove parking along Bradley Boulevard, it offers the opportunity to increase public access to Sylvan Lake and connectivity between Main Street and Ocean Avenue by future improvements, installing a pedestrian walkway and bicycle lanes, as well as striped crosswalks across Bradley Boulevard. Because right now, the only protected crosswalks are at Main Street and at the end of Bradley Boulevard where it meets Evergreen. So if you're coming from anywhere in the middle of the borough to try and get to Sylvan Lake, there's nowhere for you to cross the street.
So you're taking one away and you're adding some other elements, and there's a balance of evaluating.
Yes.
Questions?
Good.
What's the time frame on this review? When is it being submitted? And what does that schedule look like?
So now that we've had the public meeting, we can wrap up the final draft. We should be able to submit it next week. DP's review is probably like 30 to 60 days. I don't think there is a set review for like a statutory review clock. I'd have to look into that and see if there is actually one. But as soon as DEP gives their okay, then it has to be signed by the borough and on the DEP and finalized with the resolution.
Yeah, I know that we're, just off the top of my head, we are looking at, putting in additional, ADA ramps accessing the beach in the future. I know we permitted, 2 or 3 locations when we submitted for our capital permit.
Mhm.
And so those are also denoted as future improvements to increase our ADA, accessibility to the beach.
Correct.
Okay, excellent. Thank you.
Actually, I have one more. You had mentioned that the last one was done in 2019 and that the DEP came to us and said, hello, you guys didn't. Yeah,
Correct, it is a little late.
so, I guess next time we should have like a reminder in the calendar that goes up, so instead of being pinged by the DEP to be proactive and get that done.
You definitely will.
Okay.
Because that could jeopardize a permit.
Yeah.
'Cause I know when we submitted for the capital permit for the promenade extension, you actually went and said, hey, we don't have this yet updated. Will this impact us getting the capital permit for the promenade extension? And the response came back, no, it wouldn't. But please get that submitted as soon as possible. So, we got to pass, thank you DEP on that one. So that we're not holding up, the progress on the promenade.
I think we've had so much interaction with the New Jersey DEP and related agencies that anything that we had overlooked as a council, there's no way it was gonna get by additional scrutiny. So it's obviously a good thing. And it's a good thing that we're making progress on a lot of fronts. My only question, and I think Councilman Nowicki's question might have answered it. I was struck by all of the handicap blues all the way up the line. Is that referencing a handicap ramp? What are the blues?
Yeah, so it's, here, I'm gonna scroll down to show our wedding. But yeah, it's handicap ramps, parking, the mowing mats. Those are the 3 handicap ramps.
But the blue symbol is the actual
The
park.
yellow ones are the handicap ramps to the beach.
So again, questions just about, I would just want to make sure we're reporting it correctly. We don't have ramps currently at every beach front, and in fact, we don't necessarily need them at a couple. On the other hand, as Councilman, you just mentioned, we're planning to add 3 towards the end of the summer, maybe right after the summer. It sounds like you have captured those 3 additional ramps.
Yes,
Here.
yeah, the 3 additional you've captured. Yeah.
But now you did also mention, as Councilman Clark just said, the Moby mats. Right, as we are speaking, we have 3 beach fronts that have 10-foot wide Moby mats, so. Are you capturing 10-foot wide as being the denotation of handicap? Or if we just have a 4-foot wide Moby mat, are you calling that handicap also?
So I have all of that.
Any Moby mat is
Yeah,
handicap, okay.
So we're not differentiating between the 10 and the
Good.
4.
yeah.
Because I just knew that right now we have gaps in terms of handicap access, but the blues wheelchairs led me to believe.
Oh, I
That
got you.
we have probably more than we do at the moment, but we're gaining on
The
that.
blue wheelchair are handicap parking. Right, so the blue says handicap parking, the one that's half blue, half yellow is handicap access ramps. And the one that has like the sort of italicized wheelchair is Moby Mat beach access.
And they all have the Moby mat beach access.
They, all the ones that I see on there do, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, most of them do. I think there's only the handful that didn't.
okay. No, thank you. And this sounds like it's eons beyond where we were 6 or 7 years ago, so. The good news is the borough's done a lot, and the great news is you've captured it all for us, so thank you for the work you've done. No other questions? Erica, let me ask you a question. Given that we needed to have a public hearing, is this sufficient?
Yeah, I confirmed that with Ben.
Okay, and of course, anyone who does have questions, if you guys wouldn't mind sticking around for 5 more minutes when you're done. If the public has any questions of these presentations, we can field them.
It says public hearing here, so you could just,
Yeah, we'll just do it as part of the
whatever, yeah.
questions on the agenda. We'll
We
do
were
it.
safe for the way we did it.
All right, no other questions? So shall we move on then to the second part of your presentation?
Sure, we can.
Thank you.
We can either do public questions now about this one now, or just wait till.
Well, I-
my next one.
Because we're gonna open it up for any questions on the agenda, so we'll do it all at once.
That's fine. Pull up my next one.
I'm just gonna quick break. I'll be right back.
Mayor,
Sign.
you want us to post the plan that you showed on the website as well, so the public can see it?
On the website, sure, yeah, that'd be great, thank you.
Where does it live? What category does it live on the website? These, what we're referencing? Where can people find it?
Would it be by the meeting?
That's a good question. I don't know, where does it live? I know where it eats. Okay, where it is.
Just like, where would people find it when you reference that we're gonna?
That'd be council meetings with, you know,
Yeah.
with whatever the agenda and the minutes.
Yeah, it's a good point.
Okay, so the next thing I'm here to talk about is a temporary pedestrian access, and I zoomed out too much, or zoomed out too much. I want to be able to see the whole plan. Okay. Temporary pedestrian access plan for during construction of the promenade extension. As Austin mentioned, and as you know, the borough just recently received our DEP CAFRA permit for the promenade extension. Austin was very integral in that, and we are currently out to bid for construction. So this plan is going to be implemented over the summer. Due to the funding restrictions, we have to get the project done this year. So we are kind of stuck to have construction during the summer. So in order to facilitate construction and also provide safe access to the beach for everyone, we've come up with a pedestrian access plan shown here. So I guess the first thing I'll show you is the existing cross section of Ocean Avenue here. It is about 66 feet wide, I believe is the number. Sorry, it's a little hard to see on the graphic here, but you've got two 13-foot travel lanes, and then you have 20-foot parallel parking lanes. You can just kind of see your typical cross section there. During construction, between the Second Avenue Grill and the existing promenade, we're going to technically narrow that roadway. The travel lanes where cars are driving, that will remain the same, untouched. Still gonna have two 13-foot wide lanes. What's gonna happen is we're going to take the row of parking against the sidewalk and beach and use that as a pedestrian access way. We'll have it protected with temporary chain link fence for people to walk through, 10-foot wide. So they're protected from the traffic and they're contained, so they're not going to be jumping out into traffic. And we also leave a little buffer on both sides, 4-foot buffer between the fence and the travel way where the cars are driving, and then another 6-foot buffer on the other side of the fence for construction to happen, because they will be going all the way up to the and including the curb. In the middle, we're gonna have construction gates, access gates for trucks to enter in, and we're planning on having a construction entrance kind of in the middle of the site. So when vehicles need to enter the site, the gates will open up and they'll actually basically block pedestrian traffic while trucks are entering. It's kind of like an additional safeguard to keep the conflict between pedestrian traffic and construction traffic, from happening. In order to construct this, there are two sets of stairs. One right next to the Second Avenue Grill that will be in the construction zone. And there's it's not stairs, but it's just kind of a walk-on entrance closer to Third Avenue. also in the construction zone. So since we're taking those away temporarily during construction, we're constructing temporary staircases on the other side of Second Avenue Grill, and then one temporary staircase at the existing promenade at Third Avenue. We're also gonna be providing signage for people, get them used to it. That the bathroom building here is going to remain open during construction. That the Second Avenue Grill is gonna be remain open. So people on the beach that are walking through these spots between the dunes, they know where to go and what's available to them. Typically, and it's not shown in this aerial because this is during the winter, but you've got the beach lockers lined up along the dunes this whole way. So in the interim during construction, the beach lockers are going to be double stacked along closer to the road and the promenade between Second Avenue Grill and Evergreen, and then also moved down towards Third Avenue and towards that temporary staircase. So that the area where construction is happening, people aren't trying to get to their lockers. It kind of too close to that construction zone. I think I covered everything.
Ben, where's the construction vehicle access again? Can you just point that out to everybody?
Sure. So this red box is where construction is going to be taking place. And then this kind of lighter red color, and it's got a green shading in it. It might be a little difficult to see. Showed up better on my computer screen. This is the construction entrance in the middle. Typically, when Public Works is trying to access the beach, they'll use Evergreen Avenue. So that could be an access point if needed for the contractor, but that'll get worked out with them during construction where this is the preferred access point. They may decide they need to use this on occasion, but really the preferred access point is in the middle in the construction site to keep traffic off of the beach and keep it contained in that area.
So Beck, could you also speak to one of our strategies, when they did the outfall pipe coming off of Sylvan Lake that spills out into the ocean?
Yeah.
We had stockpiled all that jetty rock to be used to armor the promenade. And that's all stacked up just south of Evergreen.
Yes.
So could you comment on what the contractor is going to have to do to move that stone during construction and during the beach season, and how we're going to manage that?
Yeah, so it's just off the page here, but the Evergreen pump station is right here. And the jetty stone is piled up right here. So the contractor during construction, once they install the bulkhead that is going to be the extension for the promenade here, they're going to take this stone and bring it across the beach to this area so they can place it in front of the bulkhead as a scour protection for that bulkhead.
And that's going to be dug deep, right? I mean, that's down several feet.
Yes, it'll be down several feet. It'll have a minimum of 2 feet of sand on top of it. So once the project's done, you will not see this jetty rock. As a matter of fact, the entire promenade has jetty rock buried under the sand. It was installed that way back in the early 90s, I believe, was the original construction. And I know that I've spoken to Public Works. They once in a while have encountered it when they're raking the beach. But and they found it to be about 1 foot deep. We're safeguarding a little bit more. We're going to bury it 2 feet deep so that it's not, you're not going to see it, not going to encounter it. It's easier for maintenance. So that's the plan. But yes, during construction, probably a couple-week process to take all of the jetty rock that's stockpiled here and move it to its final resting place there. And that'll get worked out with the contractor, with the police department, the contractor is going to be providing, kind of traffic control, flagmen, during that process to make sure that people trying to enter or exit the beach are not gonna be in conflict with these, machines going across. So that's, part of the plan.
So does that, are the stones coming up to Ocean Avenue and back down, or are they coming like on the west side of the?
It's yet to be determined by the contractor.
I presume there's no traffic on the east side of the.
Correct.
Okay.
No traffic on the east side of the dunes. Everything from the dunes towards the beach is going to be untouched. That is what you call the plant protection strip, as defined by the state and your beach management plan. And all the activities are behind the dunes, between the road and the dunes, or potentially could be accessed from the road as well.
So the ultimate vision of this extended promenade, if you're at the corner of Third Avenue, is it just gonna continue straight, basically? Up down
Yes.
south to the Second Avenue Grill?
Yes.
And then is it gonna turn back in,
Yes. If
like
you're
just
on,
north of the grill?
if you're on Third Avenue here, you're gonna be able to continue to walk in here, on the promenade here. And then, yes, when you hit the Second Avenue, crosswalk there, you're gonna come straight, down again to, Second Avenue, or
And then
to Ocean Avenue.
So all of that then gets filled, right?
Yes. And that is, not part of this presentation, however, as part of the planning process with the borough, and other projects, we have the Sylvan Lake, project, the bulkhead project that is on the agenda tonight for, awarding the construction contract. The excess fill material from that project will be utilized to fill in this area. That soil has been tested, certified that it's clean material, and that will be able to utilize that material there, saving the borough a lot of money on both projects. You don't have to haul away that material, and then you also don't have to purchase the material to fill this in.
So there's enough to fill that entire space
Yes.
at the elevation of the.
At the elevation, yes, so the final promenade is going to be elevated up to the elevation of the existing promenade. It's about 14 feet above sea level. And then the beach below it is in the 9 to 10 foot range. And this, provides extra protection for the residents in this area from storm surge. Sure you know that this area was the hardest hit during Hurricane Sandy. So this is a step in the direction of providing additional protection for the residents here.
So beyond that, phase two will take that promenade starting on the west side of the Second Avenue Grill and then go back out once it continues south?
So we have a conceptual plan. We're discussing with Borough of Avon to potentially run it all the way to the Avon Boardwalk. And that's in very preliminary stages right now, but that ultimately would be the goal, to be able to connect the promenade to the Avon Boardwalk. So that you have a continuous boardwalk all the way from Asbury Park down to Belmar.
Which also would protect from, ocean surges and flooding.
Yes,
Because that is our weakest point
exactly.
along the borough.
Yeah.
Ben, could you just encapsulate the schedule? Where are we on this project right now? Permit, bidding, and what does that look like? And when can we expect that when will this happen?
So right now, the project is out for public bid. We have a bid opening scheduled for May 29th. We're anticipating being able to award the contract at the June 4th council meeting. And from there, we'll work with the contractor, get his contracts executed, get him to start ordering materials. And we could potentially start construction in late June or potentially right after the 4th of July holiday of this year.
Then could you also speak to, well, one, it was referenced earlier, but I want to make sure the public's aware. The timing of when we actually received DEP approval, because we've been working this for months,
Yes.
and what restrictions we need to deal with on an ongoing basis that are subject to that approval.
Sure, so we submitted, our application to the DEP several months ago. We've been working with them, as well as the NJDCA, who is managing the grant funding for this project. We have a boardwalk preservation grant. And we just received approval on, yesterday. We had anticipated receiving approval, so we had already put the project out for public bid to try and minimize any delays, because we are under a time crunch to get this project done. And the permit conditions did not give us any timing restrictions. If you remember or are familiar with the Sylvan Lake flume replacement, that large pipe that is replaced over the winter, they had very specific restrictions on when they could work because they were impacting the dunes. With this project, we're not touching the dunes at all. And that is a condition of our approval, that we are in compliance with your beach management plan, which says that you can't touch the dunes during summer months, which we will not be. And then also what they required is a survey of species of plants and animals to make sure that the construction does not impact any active plants or animals that could be protected under the beach management plan. So we have already begun that process to conduct, get a survey conducted. We're talking to some consultants who specialize in that. We're talking to some experts in the industry to make sure that if we do encounter anything, there are ways to mitigate either the species of plant or animal that we come across.
So we have to complete this project by December 31st, right?
Yes.
Does that all
Well,
inclusive?
we have to expend the funds by December 31st. So essentially, that's the same thing, but technically not.
Even the topography, which might not be able to get addressed until, or is that gonna happen?
That would all happen at the same time. So the way the project would be constructed is they would install the bulkhead first, then they would fill in behind it, and bring the jetty rocks in, and then they would install the decorative things on top, your pavers, your lighting, benches, trash receptacles, things like that.
Railings.
Railings that you see along the promenade.
So just a quick question, while this is all going on, just to clarify, there will be no parking from Third Avenue down to the Second Avenue Grill.
Correct.
Will there be access for walkers, runners, and bicyclists?
Yes, and I'm sorry, I did mention that. So there's also a temporary ADA compliant ramp. Because in this area, you have kind of two levels of sidewalk. You come off the curb ramp from Ocean Avenue, and you have like about an 18-inch raised sidewalk area. So for people who need ADA access, who are coming down the street, they'll be able to get into the road through this handicap ramp at Third Avenue, travel along the roadway in the protected pedestrian area, and there'll be a temporary ADA ramp constructed in front of the Second Avenue Grill to get them up to that elevated sidewalk area. From there, they can walk all the way down to Evergreen, and that's where it meets back up again with the kind of the lower tier of the sidewalk.
Right. I always wondered about that sidewalk because there's no rail, it's just an open drop.
Yep.
Which doesn't seem so safe to me, but I guess nobody's fallen off of it or pushed anyone.
It's It's a code thing, because it's only so tall, it doesn't need a fall protection. If it was taller, I don't know exactly what the
Right.
building code requirement is, but that's the reason.
So is the work gonna be done 24/7? I'm not 24/7, 7 days a week? Given the time frame?
It's no, it's. The way that typically project like this happens is Monday through Friday. And then usually no work on Saturdays or Sundays, depending on the contractor's progress, or maybe the borough's preferences. You may want to allow construction at sometimes, that are not per your ordinance. You have specific hours and days of the week for construction, so that would be up to you whether you want to grant relief. I know that was a specific thing that happened with the flume replacement project to try and speed up construction, was allowing relaxing your start time to an earlier time during that project. So we'll evaluate that during construction, depending on who the contractor is and how his progress goes. But that's not the plan right now. Right now, it's Monday through Friday.
And I think something that people need to understand is that once we receive the bid and we select the most responsive low bidder, he's gonna have methods and means of how he envisions how he can best build this project. And then you're gonna have to work with them to achieve the goals that we've set, to try to minimize the impact to the public and maintain access as delineated on this plan. So again, there's flexibility, but we've also tried to, emphasize that we are maintaining this access to the beach at all times. But we may need some interruption with police assistance even to manage the traffic, access to the construction area. And we're gonna have to work with that contractor to find the best way to do that.
Correct.
One last question with this rerouting, when does that get set up? That's after we approve? Yeah.
Well, once the contractor is ready to mobilize and start construction work, that this will get put into place. They're gonna have to do that before they begin demolition of the existing sidewalk and bulkhead there.
Okay, so it's not getting set up now, we're gonna look at it,
No.
nothing happening.
Not
Yeah.
happening.
The beach
until
blocker is
the
gonna
contractor's ready to-
I saw that,
Yeah.
but yeah, this doesn't have to be set up until they're ready to go.
The council president, that's a good point. The beach lockers will be set up, like you see on the maps.
Right,
Right now, the ones, north of Third Avenue are against the bulkhead itself, against the promenade. So those are gonna move out a bit, as you'll see here.
okay,
So those have to be readjusted.
right. I just wonder how many days in advance do they have to set up this rerouting before they can actually work?
That's what they're gonna have to talk to the contractor.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the contractor will have to figure that out, but this won't take that much long to set up. It's probably only a day or two.
Okay.
And you mentioned earlier, with all likelihoods, and there's so many variables, I hesitate to even make a sweeping generalization because there's so many variables that could change things. But you said earlier, just want to recap this for our residents. Likelihood is this construction starts after the 4th of July weekend. Is that fair?
That's fair, yeah.
I mean, we'd love it if it could be earlier, even though we hate to disrupt 4th of July weekend at the shore. What I want to keep saying, I've said it in a couple of meetings already, I'm going to say it again tonight. This sketch almost doesn't do justice how massive an undertaking this is for Bradley Beach. This is an undertaking of historical proportions. We're extending this promenade, hopefully for the next 100 years. We talked about real projecting out sea level rise in the year 2100. This promenade should be there in 2100, helping combat sea level. I
It will
will,
absolutely still be here in 20.
because we've got top engineering. My point being, this is a massive undertaking. We residents in Bradley, especially at the south end of town, are going to be inconvenienced, and there's really no way around it. In our perfect world, we would have done this work last winter, early this year. it's taken forever between beach amaranths that we have to concern ourselves with. Um, endangered species of plants and animals, birds. There's so many different variables in play and we're thrilled. And I think I want to say publicly that the New Jersey DEP has been great working with us and coordinating with the federal government. And we're following guidelines from all these different agencies. And our engineers are doing a wonderful job bringing us as many options as you can. And I wanted you to emphasize, and you did, thank you, that it was yesterday, after months of working back and forth and participating in phone calls and raising all kinds of concerns about, plants and animal species. And even now, even with approval, there are caveats. Hey, if we find a nesting bird, a plover, if we find beach amaranth plants, we may have to interrupt. We have to protect these endangered species. All the while, our clock is ticking that we need to get this project done by the end of the year. So there's so many variables in play. And again, this is a wonderful simplification, but I just wanted to confirm for everyone that this is a massive undertaking. And I'm proud of everything we're set to accomplish, but it's a little daunting. I mean, there's going to be a lot of disruption in this summer for Bradley. So I'm just going to keep saying it, but what I want everyone to know is this, we got the approval yesterday. We still don't even know who the successful bidder is going to be or when they're going to start. We don't know if we're going to find beach amaranths or the birds that are protected. There's so many variables we don't know, but we are communicating the day after we receive DEP approval. And we're going to continue to communicate as we understand who the bidder is, when the work's going to start. Council President, to your point, when the fencing will go up. We will have, we've talked with our business administrator, Mr. Doherty. We will have a section on our website that gives updates as frequently as possible. So we are very much aware that this is going to be a major inconvenience for the borough.
Yes, and we will do everything we can to alleviate any concerns or correct anything that happens during, construction that needs to be corrected. I anticipate we're going to have regular meetings with the contractor on site to review, this protection plan, as well as any other, difficulties that the contractor may run into or things that he might think are a better alternative to what, we even show on our plan. So there's going to be a constant communication with the contractor, with the borough, and with the public through the website.
And just for the record, there was a notification that went out to some residents about this. The issue was that it went only to beach locker owners.
Okay.
2 days for Saturday. Or Sunday.
The information. So it was just kind of confusing. Some people on my street got it, some didn't. I didn't exactly know why. That was the logic behind it.
Understood.
Purely beach lockers positioning. And anyone with a beach locker got it. Every neighbor next door to that person that didn't have a beach locker didn't get it. Again, we only received approval yesterday.
Right.
We will be giving very broad, very thorough communications. We've been making that commitment as a council for months. Unfortunately, we haven't had anything solid to communicate. So now that solidity is forming, we will begin aggressively communicating.
And Mayor, if you recall, several months ago, notices went out from the DEP and from CME. Because for permit purposes, you have to notify within 200 feet of the construction area.
So the subject property.
The subject property, and we had property because of the permitting for the railings, or handicap ramps that we may be putting in later on this year.
Yeah.
So people all the way down at Cliff may have gotten a notification, people along the stretch along the length of Ocean Avenue, but only so far back. And so people had questioned that as well.
That's right.
But I also want to emphasize, not only are we, that we've been coordinating with the DEP, the federal regulators, but we also within the borough of Bradley Beach. I personally went to the land use board and informed them of what the situation was with the funding and what we were looking to do here, as well as the environmental commission. And the Sylvan Lake Commission also has been, because of the tie of the two projects using material. So there's been a lot of coordination internally within the borough, making sure that everybody's aware in any form of leadership or commission, environmental, land use, and the importance of us moving this project at this time. In the unfortunate situation of disrupting the summer months, but we have to. The grant is, I'm sorry, Ben, how much is the federal grant that was secured?
$4.275 million.
$4.275 million, and there's only a 5% match on this grant that's paying for this through the federal government. And if we don't spend it by December 31st, we lose it, and then this project won't get done, which protects our community. So it's very important. Yeah, we endure a little bit and work together with the community to make sure we minimize the impact this summer.
And for the public record, we are in the process of trying to identify and apply for a next wave of grant funding that would enable us to further extend the promenade. So we really have a lot of irons in the fire. I think we're making great progress, but I just want to convey it's quite a challenging seascape for Bradley Beach, but very confident that we're going to pull it off. We just have to work through a lot of variables.
Yeah, we're calling this phase one of the project. So phase two would be the continuation of Promenade. Depending on how much funding the borough is able to secure, will tell us how far we can extend phase two. And if there needs to be a phase three, we know that phase three.
And that could be shared with that on phase three.
Yeah. That was one of the funding opportunities that we're exploring is a larger scale grant to try and do a complete phase two. Still yet to be seen whether or not that will happen, but these are some of the things that we're going after.
And Councilman Nowicki mentioned to me a little while back, I think it bears repeating, Paul. Roughly a 5-mile stretch from the north end of Asbury to the south end of Belmar. This is the one gap, and what is it, 1,200 feet or something?
Roughly 1,400 feet of no bulkhead to basically protect, which is our southern limit of the borough, but also the lowest point that was impacted right there from Sylvan Lake in the southern area of our community. So yeah, this is key to for the resiliency of the shoreline. And by doing this also, we also have the federal government that's looking to do dune implementation all the way from Sandy Hook all the way down through Seagirt. And that project is with the Army Corps of Engineers. And so our ability to do this and take care of this and coordinate with what the Army Corps is going to do in the future is really important for our security and resilience or flooding in the future.
Any other questions or comments from the council? All right, Ben, thank you very much. In a moment, we're going to open it up to the public for questions.
And Mayor,
Yes,
you're good if we post this on the website as well, so that people can see the aerial view, the map of.
absolutely. In time, we'll have a separate call out area on the website. I think for now, there'll probably, if you talk to Amy Baker, but it'll probably be part of council and
Have it just.
mayor's council.
I mean, so people.
Well,
look-
we don't have the spot yet. She's going to build one. But as soon as she does, you're right, it'll be a separate area. All right. Thank you, Artheon, no longer CME for everyone's benefit. And we've now completed the 2 workshops. Moving to item 7, approval of minutes. I will make motion that we approve the May 5, 2026 council business meeting minutes.
Second, Mr. Noble?
Yes.
Ms. Greenblatt?
Yes.
Mr. Carp?
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki?
Yes.
Mayor Gubatose?
Yes. Item 8 on the agenda is now public comment. This is comments and questions specifically pertaining to tonight's agenda. And certainly you can ask questions about the plans we've shared tonight with Artheon. Yes, Susan.
Hi, Susan Airclough, 13 Pacific Avenue. This is so relieving. I have looked at some NOAA models, the water rising, and they said 14 feet. Do we have any models projecting how that would save us in terms, because that little Like there is basically an open door for the ocean when it gets too high, so. And that was more of a general, but I really appreciate it. And for me, myself and my family, we don't care if you start at 6 a.m. because
Get it done.
I know what happens when this water gets out of control and it comes down the street and it will be in front of my house, block in, 2 blocks in. So I thank you for being able to secure this fence and how you deal with the Department of Environmental Protection and all the really, human things that we value. So that's what I have. Thanks.
Thank you. Yes, sir, Mr. Fehrenbach.
Greg Fehrenbach, 408 Bradley Boulevard, procedural question and a substantive question. Procedurally, if this is supposed to be a public hearing, do you have to submit the minutes of the public hearing, including public comment, to the DEP as part of this application?
For the municipal public access plan presentation, yes, we will submit.
Okay, so then the clerk has to produce those. Substantively, are there any properties that you have included for public access that are public properties that are not on the walls?
No.
Okay, so everything that you've included is already encumbered by the walls.
Correct.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, Ms. Meadow.
Nancy Meadow, Ocean Park condominiums. I got a little lost in this, which is on me. Before this, I could walk to Avon on our east side of the street of Ocean Avenue. When this is completed in this phase 1 of what you're calling it, are you saying I can no longer do that? Because we said we need cooperation from Avon and the joining and we're joined.
We got beyond, no, this is phase 1. Phase 1 is extending where we are a little further, I don't know, 1,000 feet or something.
Down to the second.
I mean, but
A block, yeah.
Right.
But I'm saying
So it's still a boardwalk,
Right.
it's a promenade that just will now go down to the Second Avenue Grill. And then you'll continue on as you normally would in Avon. But then we got a little beyond this, as we said, we are in early conversations with Avon. It may go nowhere, there's zero commitment yet. But we're in early conversations about, could we conceivably close the gap completely by having Avon extend their promenade up? We extend ours the rest of the way, so we meet at the border of the 2 towns. And then we would truly have one promenade that ran straight into Avon. We're not there yet.
I mean, we still have that cement that we just walk on. Okay,
It doesn't have a bulkhead.
okay,
Yeah.
I'm not that, so thank you for clarifying. The other thing I'd like clarified that I've asked, for I don't know, 3 or 4 VAs, not including you. On the bill list. And I'll save my comments regarding the digital application for later. And I cannot even tell you what page on the bill list, because once the meeting starts, it's pulled from the website and I can find it where I used to, but there's a disbursement for $10,000 to a person who I shouldn't name for change for the cashiers as we go into the season. What are our checks and balances regarding getting that $10,000 back? Because without me saying it, we all know the problems. We know the various individuals over the years that caused the problems. And I've never heard, do we have checks and balances? We don't see the deposits. And if you just say yes to me, Mr. Mayor, your word is good enough for me.
Yes,
Okay,
And by the way, I asked the same question, Nancy.
I have no doubt.
we do, we have cash reconciliations every day by unit delivering the cash. few years back, you're absolutely right, we had concerns. And even the 10,000, we still debate, do we need that much? It's spread out over numerous entrances, so it's more like 1,000 or 1,500 per entrance. But we are constantly trying to reduce the amount of cash floating around. But right now, the auditor does no longer identify that as a control weakness of ours. We now have that under control.
Thank you.
But I would, to Mr. Meadows' point, it is nervous anytime you're giving someone $10,000 in cash. So, but we do take it seriously. We do have checks and balances and.
Do you have them at the tag booth?
What's that?
Do you have the checks and balances at the tag booth?
We have the checks and balances from the moment that the mayor and council vote yes on this till the mayor, their money comes back to the police department and ultimately deposit the cash into
That's
the.
a lot of hands it goes.
You're absolutely right. Which is the reason why the less cash, the better.
Now, by the way, I don't know if I can see folks on Zoom, so, Ben, are you able to shrink this? Other questions or comments? Yes, Eileen,
That's not sharing.
come on up.
Getting very protective. I mean, Shishius, 112 Fourth Avenue. We're probably talking about a lot of cash being transferred back and forth. I'm concerned about the safety of these people. And you're making this a public statement, but I don't want anybody to get mugged or robbed or killed to get this money. So it's beyond my jurisdiction, but I just had to get it off my chest because it's scary.
Yeah, it's a very valid, and very important concern, which is why it takes resources from our police department.
I mean, do they have
to catch-
vests? I mean, I'm sure that I know they know what they're doing, but it scares me. I mean, I'm sorry.
Scares us too.
Okay, thank you.
Eileen, it wasn't that many years ago, they had 5-gallon pails of quarters. So we're getting better.
But we talked about this today. It is about the safety of these people working.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so that's why we're trying.
Society,
That's,
I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's scary.
And every beachfront municipality
yeah.
has to deal with this.
Other comments or questions on today's agenda, or just the agenda? Anyone with a hand up on Zoom? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on from public comment to ordinances. Item 9 on the agenda. We have one ordinance today for introduction. As a reminder on ordinance introductions, thank you, gentlemen. Introductions, we will not have public comment. However, with every adoption, there will be public comment. So introduction of ordinance 2026-30. This is an ordinance amending chapter 393, which is special events. And the borough has struggled with special events for a number of years. Our clerk has educated me a lot to some of the challenges we've had. Currently, our ordinance allows it, or requires a $2,500 fee for a special event. It does not allow refunds. So if someone has a special event, some organization, and I don't know, there's a collective spend of $1,000, it's in the borough supporting it, there's no refund. And so people come to us all the time and say, come on, 2,500. And largely, we've either had to be free, waive the fee entirely, or charge $2,500 with no refund. So, and you know, Erica, it's probably driven you a little crazy, certainly the refund
That's the
request. But in meeting with a series of meetings with our department heads, including the police and DPW, our clerk, tourism, rec center, we had a lot of feedback from our department heads, and what we came up with was a modified design. From now on, should we approve this, you know, and adopt it later, there will be always a minimum fee. We can waive the fee, and we are likely to do so for Bradley Beach related entities, say the PTO or the Friends of the Library or the fire department. But in general, all other activities will have a $500 minimum if they just walk through Bradley Beach. $500. That's what the ordinance for introduction says tonight. That's a level 1 of fees. But then we have 3 levels above that, 2, 3, and 4, and they are now $1,000, $2,000, and $3,000. So no more 2,500. You could go as low as 1,000 for a modest amount of borough-related services, police and or DPW and or our, you know, a walk or run or jog or whatever down the boardwalk might have people using our restrooms. That requires us to reimburse custodians for cleaning the bathrooms that people might use along the way. Removing garbage, taking the garbage to the dumps, paying dumping fees and what have you. So a low end minimum resource might be as much, it could be 500, could be as much as 1,000. Then the moderate is 2,000, and then high level of resources 3,000. In no event will there be a refund. If we miss, if we say it's 1,000 and the cost ended up costing the borough more, the following year, if that event returns, we'll bump their fee. But the one other important thing of note is only at the highest end, the level 4, which is $3,000, there will not be a refund. However, we will do cost accounting for any large event that we think is a $3,000 fee. There will be a cost accounting, and we will have a requirement that says if our borough resources contributed total more than $3,000, there will be an additional fee or additional bill. We think it's the best way to be fair to the broad continuum of organizations that want to utilize Bradley Beach resources. And yet we also want to do it in a way that is as simple administratively as we can make it. So that's largely what we're going to discuss and vote on tonight, but that's primarily the overview. I want to make sure everybody's aware. So with that said, any comments or questions from the council?
I think this more aligns with use and, you know, the expenses that the borough might incur, even when there's a pass-through.
Makes sense, yeah.
I think it's still important that if there are events that we choose to waive that fee for, that we're still able to do that.
That language is not changing, we still can, but we were torn between 2,500 and waive. So at least now they're, you know, a low end of $500 is generally, in fact, our clerk has been testing this with folks this year, saying next year, we anticipate there will be a fee. And so far, the general reaction has been neutral.
Yeah, I'm just making them aware, you know, next year, there will in fact be a fee. It won't be the 2,500, and I've also told them the 2,500 was required all along. You know, but they've been okay with the 500 so far, or, you know, they're aware if they use more borough resources, they are gonna be billed more, so. It's been okay, they just thought the 2,500 was a little exorbitant, and I think they're relieved that we're working with them a little more.
Do we know what other adjacent towns are doing? How they're managing it?
I didn't, no, I don't.
We don't know that at all.
But there are, nothing is.
Similar,
I mean, there are functions.
I know it's similar.
Yeah, we just wanted to
I
create
don't know
something
what the fees are though.
administratively simple that also gave us some flexibility in how we charge people. Any other questions or comments?
No, it makes sense.
All right, Erica, before we vote, I do want to thank you because you kind of spearheaded this over the past year. It's taken us this long to get here, but thank you for
You're welcome.
your help. Okay, if there's no other comments or questions, and there will not be public comment tonight, but public will have a shot at this at our next meeting for adoption. I'll make a motion that we approve for introduction ordinance 2026-30 special events.
That's it.
Mr. Noble?
Yes.
Ms. Greenblatt?
Yes.
Mr. Carr?
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki?
Yes.
Mayor Gubatose?
Yes. Okay, we have 3 ordinances for adoption. The first is 2026-27. This is chapter 450 zoning, as Mr. Cannon explained at our last meeting when we introduced it. This is really editing mistakes in referencing. None of the language is changing, nothing of substance changed, but we did not code this correctly. So Mr. Cannon has cleaned up the coding. First, any comments or questions from the borough? All right, let me open it up for public hearing. I'll make a motion that we open to the public.
Second.
Mr. Noble?
Yes.
Ms. Greenblatt?
Yes.
Mr. Carr?
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki?
Yes.
Mayor Gubatose?
Yes. Comments or questions on our correcting our earlier errors? Okay, seeing no hands, I'll make a motion that we close public hearing and adopt 2026-27.
Ms. DeNoble?
Yes.
Ms. Greenblatt?
Yes.
Mr. Carp?
Yes.
Mr. Nouwaitley?
Yes.
Mayor Gubatosi?
Yes. Ordinance number 2 for adoption, 2026-28. This is portable storage units and dumpsters. Councilman Clark, would you like to lead the discussion?
So this was an amendment where we were increasing the fees for the dumpsters, which hadn't been updated in several years. We created a new 90-day contractor dumpster permit, which alleviated some administrative overhead for having contractors have to keep coming back for renewals. It also allows for the removal of dumpsters during snow or other types of emergencies. We also made it mandatory that all dumpsters, regardless of the amount of time that they are spent in the streets, all have to get permits and pay for those permits. And also we don't allow for dumpsters on county or state roads.
Also, Mr. Clark, there was one, I understand, very nominal adjustment, that amendment, I guess, that we wanted to consider tonight, as to where we place the sticker. It was on the dumpster.
So there was some questions as whether or not that needed to be in the ordinance or not. Because when I had met with the community development, they were like, it goes on the side, it's easy enough to put it on the side. And then there were some other discussions. It's like, well, we should put it in the window with everything else. I had spoken to our code enforcement officer, who initially said we needed to have an amendment, and then he said, no, we don't. So to the extent that that didn't seem like it needed to be part of the ordinance.
And right now, I'm just catching up because I did see our attorney, Mr. Cannon, I guess, guide us, that he said it was de minimis to the extent we wanted to make that change, that we could make it tonight if we wanted. My only question is, I believe the current language is pretty clear that the sticker goes on the dumpster. Do we need that specificity in this ordinance?
Well, I guess it can't hurt. I mean, I was.
Mr. Cannon already did that and sent it to all of you on Friday.
To put it on the,
He
house.
added it in. He did the change that you wanted.
okay, but, so I knew that conversation had taken place. I didn't-
Okay.
Okay, so Erica, I think we're going to need to make a motion to amend the introduction. This is now adoption. For that language that Mr. Cannon shared with folks. Right?
No,
Why not?
because you already introduced it, you're now adopting it, and any changes you made in between, that's.
It's a de minimis.
Yes. de minimis.
so
If you don't need a
Adopting.
formal motion, just indicate that it's been changed.
Okay, so Bill, I was gonna turn to you next, so. It's good to have a lawyer when you need one, right?
It sure is.
All right, so even the council, while we all debated this, we weren't completely aware that this change had been made. So let me announce it to the public before we open it up for public hearing. There was a very minor de minimis change recommended by our code enforcement folks. And they said the stickers, the decals that are getting placed on the dumpsters get beat up. And they said, can we have these permit stickers put on the house of the dumpster instead of on the dumpster itself? De minimis change, we've incorporated into the language. We don't need to have a separate motion on it, but I just want to make sure everybody's aware that this small change has been incorporated into the language that we're gonna.
Yeah, it says shall be visibly displayed in a front-facing window of a structure on the property where said dumpster has been permitted for placement.
And again, it's just everyone in code enforcement thinks it's clear to have them.
Okay.
Yeah, Greg spoke with me Friday evening as I was getting everything ready, and said, I made the change, so we're gonna send this over amended, so.
I saw the exchange, I saw that it was de minimis, I wasn't sure if proceed and how to proceed, okay. All that said, any comments or questions from the council?
Good work.
Yeah, Mr. Carr, very, very thorough work, thank you for that.
Well, thank you. Thank you. So anyway, I would like to make a motion to open up ordinance 2026-28, amending chapter 348 for public comment.
Second.
Ms. DeNoble?
Yes.
Ms. Greenblatt?
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki?
Yes.
Mayor Gubatose?
Yes.
Any comments from the?
There isn't a window, like if I have a new house going up across the street and dumpster nightmares. There's no window to place that sticker because there hasn't been windows yet.
Does it say, I don't know how literally they mean window.
Usually, I've seen other people permit, you know, they tacked it to the outside of the front of the building.
Any other questions or comments? Yes, sir, Mr. West.
Fire team, what is, for the non-contractor resident, what is the time frame that they could have done?
30 days.
30 days? Oh, that's.
No other comments or questions in the room, that's showing it.
All right, I'd like to make a motion to close public comment and adopt ordinance 2026-28, amending chapter 340.
Second,
Ms. DeNoble?
Yes.
Ms. Greenblatt?
Yes.
Mr. Carr?
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki?
Yes.
Mayor Gubatose?
Yes. And ordinance 2026-29, bamboo and invasive species plants, chapter 120. Once again, Councilman Carr, I will turn it to you.
So where bamboo and invasive plants exist in our borough, we needed some stronger rules to control them due to the significant damage that they can cause to properties. So the ordinance now aligns with recently New Jersey law that they had passed regarding these plant categories. Very importantly, redefines the buffer zone from 5 feet to 20 feet. That's from property, sidewalks, easements, right of ways. That any of the bamboo or the invasive plants need to be away from these areas. It helps also strengthens our enforcement capabilities, and it also gives the town the ability to recover any of these remediation costs through municipal liens. So if we do have to come in and step in, we do have the ability of recouping those costs. It's also really important to note that there is no grandfathering. It's not like, oh, I've had bamboo on my property and so I'm grandfathered. It's like, no, if you have bamboo on your property or any other invasive species, you need to abide by the ordinance. So any questions or comments from council?
In particular, in terms of the buffer zones created to various boundary edges, you've increased it from
5 feet to 20 feet.
Which is significant.
Yeah.
On small
Yeah,
lots.
you can have, if you have a 25-foot wide lot, you've officially gotten rid of it because you.
It's a much stronger ordinance.
Yeah.
I only, a 40-foot lot would.
A 40-foot is done.
You would not be allowed to
Yeah.
have it because you can't do
Yeah.
it. You could have
Yeah.
maybe, well, you can't have.
And I've seen some
couple
where
weeds.
they're the same homeowner on adjacent lots, and the bamboo crosses over from one to the other. It just because you happen to own both properties on either side of the property line, you still need to get rid of it.
And Councilman, you also, I know, borrowed some thinking from New Jersey State. Would you mind just?
Yeah, well, some of it was the types of plants that are defined in the endangered species. Invasive species, yeah, a little different. So we wanted to make sure that we align with that. Also, one of the important things that New Jersey passed in that law was they currently prohibit the sale of bamboo in the state of New Jersey. Yeah.
Well done.
All right.
So well done, thank you.
I'd like to make a motion to open up ordinance 2026-29 for a public comment.
Second.
Ms. DeNoble?
Yes.
Ms. Greenblatt?
Yes.
Mr. Carr?
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki?
Yes.
Mayor Gubatose?
Yes.
Any questions? The audience? Mine?
518 more.
30 days. No, that.
No, $30. Somebody has bamboo on their property. How long do they have to get it out, and how much do you
Well,
don't get it?
well, there are fines defined in the ordinance. I have to go back and read exactly what that amount is. I think it can be up to $2,500, maybe some prison time. But
Community service.
it's a community service. So it's significant. It could be, but as far as, certainly our full-time code enforcement officer is out and about. Being very proactive in identifying properties with bamboo, in addition to getting feedback from residents who have struggled with their neighbors. Bamboo, so if you know of, if you're aware of a problem, I would definitely inform our code enforcement officer, who will make an immediate visit to the property to get that remediated. Additionally, this also, the ordinance also forces a follow-up visit, because one remediation usually is not enough, so there may need to be some maintenance that happens.
Like to come back.
Yeah, right, so you need to come back and say, okay, after a year, did the remediation work? If not, it needs to be done again, so they'll be tracking all of the remediation that gets done, and then also schedule the follow-ups.
Alright.
Doesn't it also put the onus on the owner of the property with the bamboo if it's impacted the other property?
Yes,
Actually.
yeah, one of the things that they define, is defined in the ordinance, is bamboo property owner. So it's not just because bamboo is on my yard, it's where the.
So they've created a problem for their neighbor. It's incumbent upon them to cover the cost.
Correct.
Which can be significant.
Correct, oh yeah, very much so.
Yeah.
Any other comments or questions? Anybody from Zoom? No? Okay, so I'd like to make a motion to close public comment and adopt ordinance 2026-29.
Second.
Mr. Noble,
Yes.
Ms. Greenblatt,
Yes.
Mr. Carp,
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki.
Yes.
Mayor Gubatose.
Yes. Moving to item 10 on the agenda, communications, there are none. Item 11 on the agenda, resolutions, we'll start with the consent agenda resolutions. The consent agenda resolutions 2026-146 through 148. Does the council want to discuss any of those separately or vote on any separately? Right, then I'll make a motion that we approve consent agenda resolution items 2026-146 through -148.
Second.
Mr. Noble?
Yes.
Ms. Greenblatt?
Yes.
Mr. Carp?
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki?
Yes.
Mayor Gubatose.
Yes. Individual resolutions, start with 2026-149, approving an adult summer camp program. Any comments or questions on this one?
Well, I'm the liaison to rec and it's kind of exciting because no other towns do this. So it's a little 3-day camp program for adults. So if people are interested, I mean, we have so many community members who love playing pickleball, bocce, mahjong, all of these things, we're definitely a tight community. And there'll be competitive play and, kind of going back to childhood and being in a camp environment.
And does that include color war?
Yes, it does.
I just worry about all the injuries from our seniors.
I'm sure they'll sign a waiver.
Exactly.
I mean, they're kind of thinking people in their 30s, 40s, when I mentioned myself, she's like, well, we can create a golden, and I'm like, no. No, next time I keep my mouth shut.
Did she mention how much it is?
Oh, it's $175.
Oh,
It
okay.
includes lunch.
Yeah, it looks like a lot of fun. I'm in for the karaoke.
And there's no sleepover involved, is there?
Never sleep about this.
And it's
She said anything but karaoke. I'm in.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm looking at this.
it's apparently a
Yeah.
3-day program.
The end of August.
Yep, she can use Courtney, it's Courtney Pappas's brainchild. She's been asked by many seniors to consider a senior summer camp. So is this something she could multiply and do multiple times and then give it summer, but it's gonna try it once. It'll run into the evening so folks can visit downtown restaurants and perhaps bars.
And includes free beach access for those days as well.
Yep, all built into the fees, and our business administrator tells me it should be very profitable.
Yes.
Correct, Matthew?
Yes, and you're already signed up.
Because lunch could be like pizza.
So I think it's worth giving Ms. Pappas a shot at something creative. If there's no other comments or questions, I'll make a motion that we approve 2026-149.
Mr. Noble?
Yes.
Ms. Greenblatt?
Yes.
Mr. Carr?
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki?
Yes.
Mayor Gubatosi?
Yes. Mr. Nowicki, do you want to take this one? I can if you want.
I don't have the details in front of me.
Yeah. Well, it's 2026-150, awarding a bid for Sylvan Lake bulkhead improvement to Earthworks Inc. These guys are not only our low bidder, Councilman, but I know you are very familiar with their work and they've been doing a great job on other projects, Sylvan Lake related.
But I can comment on all that.
Please.
So yeah, Earthworks is the apparent low bidder for the bulkhead replacement from on Bradley Boulevard from Evergreen to Madison. Earthworks is the same contractor that did the ocean outfall pipe replacement this past winter. And we've had a good experience with them doing that work. Our DPW has high regards as well for the work that they did. And so they actually came in as the apparent low bidder. And in reality, so competitive because he still has work to complete of the gate and as well as the restoration of the dune in the fall. I believe that gave him a competitive edge because he already has familiarity with the lake, mobilization, equipment that has to be here. So he was very competitive in his pricing. I think it's going to be great to get this work done. We mentioned earlier when Ben presented on the promenade extension, the material that is being excavated to build the wall is actually going to get transported and then used to fill in the promenade. So it's really important that this project moves along, not wait. We need to do that because we saved hundreds of thousands of dollars of cost reusing that material versus disposing of it and buying new material. So with that, I'd like to make a motion to approve the award of the Sylvan Lake bulkhead improvement to Earthworks.
Second.
Mr. Noble?
Yes.
Ms. Greenblatt?
So I'm gonna say yes, but I have a quick question. So now that it's been we're awarding it, when do we anticipate this project is gonna start?
So until they actually have a kickoff meeting with the contractor and go over the details of his material that he has to order and what his schedule is to do that work. Planting won't happen, the final completion of the job won't happen until the fall when they do the plantings of trees as well as the vegetation and living shoreline. So we don't know exactly when yet, but it will happen somewhere over this next, month.
So sometime maybe before the end of June, it'll
Yes,
start.
probably high probability, because he can actually start, demolition and earthwork, et cetera. And then, again, we want to coordinate that with what's happening down at the promenade. So there's some flexibility in that. And so we're going to coordinate that. Artheon will be coordinating that based on those two contracts and when does one need the material from the other. That's really a key piece of this puzzle.
And is that also gonna be Monday through Friday work?
Yeah, it's the standard, hours of allowable work on Monday through Friday.
Mhm.
And if we run into a problem, we can always accelerate, give, some consideration. But again, based on where, the houses and everything along there, we have to be careful with the noise, et cetera, of what that work is going to be.
So I'm a yes.
Mr. Carr?
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki?
Yes.
Mayor Gubatosi?
Yes. Councilor Nowicki, I'm inclined to have you take the next three. They're all awarding work to Artheon for, various projects all in around the same area. Would you like to?
Yes, so 2026-151 is authorizing an award of proposal for professional engineering services with Artheon, formerly CME, for Sylvan Lake bulkhead improvements, construction phase services. This is, again, the support services for Artheon to actually inspect the work, manage the construction that we have just awarded to Earthworks. So they will be responsible to process those, invoices, inspect the work, making sure that it meets the quality standards that we specified in the plans. Any questions?
Is Suburban involved in this at all? in this phase of it? No?
No, this is nothing to do with the suburban work, is we're doing work on the sewers.
No, I know, I'm aware, but I thought that there was some coordination
No,
with
no,
the Sylvan Lake.
there's no sewer work here, no, they're
Okay.
suburban, is not working on any contracts,
Okay,
at Sylvan Lake currently.
And Paul, this is largely funded from the grant funding that we've been awarded.
Yes, and I think I'm bad to mention, the bids came in significantly lower than what the grant was. There's, roughly, close to $1 million that's unspent on that grant. So we are looking at opportunity to do more work along the Sylvan Lake, expand that work, as well as the lighting. We need to replace the lighting from away from Evergreen to Main Street, and so that would be a contracted through JCP&L, which we're checking to see if we can in fact apply that to the grant as well. And that's a zero matching grant, by the way. There is no funds from the borough being spent on that project. It's 100% state funded by DOT. So it's a great contract that had gotten secured.
So I mentioned earlier when Arteon was here presenting the extension of the promenade, now we have so many different variables in play, but it's so critical that this work is happening, not only bulkhead, but work we will be doing to take, some of the, whether it be sediment or just, dirt from the lake to use to fill the promenade. So it's amazing to me how these things are all coming together, led largely by you. So thank you.
Yeah, well, it's been a privilege to be able to get these projects that I've been talking about for a long time and actually see them come to fruition. And again, trying to minimize the impact to the public, because that's really the challenge in all of these construction is a dirty business. And we need to really manage, closely communicate what's happening, when it's happening, and try to minimize that impact to the traveling as well as the residents here in town. So we're very aware of that. So with that, no other questions. So I'd like to make a motion.
and the wildlife in Sylvan Lake, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Those swans.
We got those swans, we protect the
Space and
spaces.
basically we see swans.
I've heard that. With that, I'd like to make a motion to approve authorizing CME for the support of the Sylvan Lake Bulkhead Improvement Construction-Based Services,
Which is 151, right?
which is 151.
Second,
Ms. DeNoble?
Yes.
Ms. Greenblatt?
yes.
Mr. Carp?
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki?
Yes.
Mayor Gubatose?
Yes.
Okay, and then 2026 152, authorizing award of professional services to Arteon, former CME for preliminary assessment and site inspection, PASI, for Sylvan Lake walking path and stormwater improvements. So we are applying for a grant with Avon. We're both applying for a grant with Monmouth County Open Space for $1 million that will help with the stormwater treatment prior to the water spilling into the lake. And so there's these things called manufactured treatment devices that you install that basically the water from upstream collects into that, filters, and then goes into the lake. So it actually reduces the sediment that can actually get to the lake and minimizes it. And so there's one of these large units is going to be placed on the property, or we want to give funding to place one of these units on Avon's property across Main Street, where all the water comes down from Middlesex County, Neptune Township, City of Neptune. 80% of that flow comes into the lake, and all that sediment that's collected along the way is spilling right now into our lake, and that's why we've had the problems we do. So this manufactured treatment device, we're looking to get the county to provide a grant to us and to Avon, both boroughs to pay for that mechanical device. And we also want to put those on the devices, at the inlets that are along Bradley Boulevard that go right into the lake as well, so that we can prevent the sediment from getting into the lake. Our DPW will have to go in and vacuum those out like they do on any catch basin. That's a maintenance thing, but they have the equipment to do that. So this is just a very proactive measure that is being done as a standard from an engineering perspective when it comes to stormwater and protecting sediments from getting into water bodies. So this here is a funding CME to actually do the quick environmental assessment and preliminary engineering effort to support the grant application to Monmouth County, because they require certain information to be provided. And this is actually work that will be used in the actual design work. But it's the preemptive support for the grant that will ultimately be a conceptual preliminary effort.
Can you remind me, after DPW takes that sediment out, where does it go?
So some of it, sometimes it can be used for mulch and or the landfill. So they take it to their yard, they dry it, and then they basically dispose of it, or they use it for mulching, for other purposes.
I like the technical word, they dewater it.
Dewater.
And it's like a big coffee filter, right?
Oh, yeah, the device is, it's like that's how I describe it, but basically it creates like a vortex like your coffee does in your.
Right, just let the liquid go through.
Okay.
So with that, any questions? So this supports the grant, so I'm make a motion to authorize engineering services to Artheon for the support of the stormwater and walking path improvements 2026-152.
Second.
Ms. DeNoble?
Yes.
Ms. Greenblatt?
Yes.
Mr. Carr?
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki?
Yes.
Mayor Gubatose?
Yes,
And shall I do this one too?
please do.
2026-153, award of professional engineering services for Artheon. We're keeping these guys in business. For recreation center improvements, phase 2. So we just completed these fantastic playground improvements. And we have received an additional grant for $72,000. And so there's a lot of work that still needs to be done in the rec center. This $72,000, though, we were targeting to do the ball field, redo the ball field. There's some drainage issues out there. The fence in that area needs to get replaced. The goals for the soccer goals, netting needs to get replaced. And so what we've done is asked Artheon to come up with an approach to bring the improvements that we need in that area of the rec center within a $72,000 budget. And so we're looking at, again, replacing fence fabric, replacing the baseball bases, working with DPW on some of this work as well, because there's some of that they can do, like aerating of the lawns and whatnot. So we're trying to bring the improvements to the ball field area within that $72,000. And so what this here is basically awarding a funding for Artheon to do the design of that work. And be able for us to get that completion of this next phase of the rec center completed.
And none of this is redundant if we go forward and consolidate the DPW facility, right?
No. And again, that's probably further out than soon. And so what we're trying to do is, again, this is more of a maintenance project versus a reconstruction. So we're looking to basically put everything in good repair. And then we'll deal with those issues if we want to expand, because the DPW relocation, that's something that, concepts that were floated in the previous administrations, that's something that'd be done and looked at closer into the future. Also, there's another grant that we haven't brought back yet, that is being $100,000 that we got for additional pickleball courts, removal of that greenhouse. And that's in the back of the rec center. And we haven't gotten the concepts, and that's not Artheon doing that work, that's Avakian doing that work. So that's, but we've got to see those concepts yet of what we can build there. But again, so this is the phase 2, good repair, maintenance of the ball field, replacement of the fence fabric, and approaches for the fields.
I think one thing that's worth noting, not only to, again, sing your praises, Councilman, but also just to keep the public informed. When this came across my desk a week or so ago, and I was chatting with Councilman Nowicki, we had a $72,000 grant that we were very excited about, in doing enhancements to the rec center. But it was tied to a much broader project scope that did include drainage of the fields. And again, these are not regulation fields. The total spend was probably closer to 250,000. We would have had to borrow the difference between 250 and 70. And we just immediately started chopping it up, got it down to a spend of 72,000, which is covered by the grant. And the soft cost at roughly 10%, in fact, exactly 10%, that'll go to CME is coming out of a prior authorized bond. So minimal cost to the residents.
Yeah, we wanted to bring this into a budgetary and take an approach to actually deliver this within the grant and not take it outside of what we're funded for. We have a lot going on. We gotta be fiscally responsible here. So with that, I'd like to make a motion to adopt 2026-153 award professional engineering services to Artheon for rec center improvement phase 2.
Second,
Ms. DeNoble?
yes.
Ms. Greenblatt?
Yes.
Mr. Carr?
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki?
Yes.
Mayor Gubertose?
Yes. Okay, I will take the reins once again as we get to 2026-154, authorizing temporary emergency appropriations. I believe our CFO got these to our clerk about 15 minutes before the meeting started tonight. But again, this is moving some numbers around just to make sure our budget works. Any comments or questions? I will make a motion that we approve 2026-154.
Second,
Ms. DeNoble?
yes.
Ms. Greenblatt?
Yes.
Mr. Carr?
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki?
Yes.
Mayor Gubertose?
Yes. Item 12 on the agenda, announcements, there are none. Item 13A, I am anxiously awaiting the administrator report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just a couple things to report. I should be pretty short. The poles, have been removed on Main Street in front of the Shell gas station. If you remember, they were leaning significantly for a while. JCP&L came and put in new poles, but they left the old poles. Verizon recently came in, removed the old poles, reattached their equipment along with whatever other telephony cables were up there onto the new poles. And now you'll see some bricks piled up. They outsource, and they have a contractor who comes in and puts the bricks back and puts the sidewalk back in place. So just wanted to publicly thank JCP&L, and also Verizon was pretty quick at coming out here and addressing that for us. So I know at the last council meeting, we did talk about the challenge with all the wires, particularly behind homes. You know, a lot of them are just left up there abandoned. So we're gonna tackle that next. And through this exercise with the poles on Main Street, we've been able to develop some pretty good relationships with folks at both JCP&L and Verizon regarding the type of wires that are on the poles throughout the rest of town. The Motor Vehicle Commission will be coming back to Bradley Beach on Thursday, May 28th. If you remember, we did this before. It's the mobile unit. They'll do real IDs, which again, like last time, just contact Borough Hall and we'll schedule it. At this point, honestly, a lot of people already have their real IDs, not real IDs. But we figured it's another opportunity to do that. At the same time, you could also do your registration renewal, non-driver ID. You know, there are some seniors who don't drive but still want to have the identification. Duplicate replacement title or registration. All of those will require a appointment, but some things do not require appointment. You know, if you have old license plates that you just have in the basement or sit in your pantry, like I do, there's an opportunity to return them. But also handicap, veterans, and Purple Heart placards are available just for walk-up. You don't need to make an appointment for that.
Matt, one more time, what was the date of the real ID?
Thursday, May 28th, back at the firehouse again. It just seems to work really, really well there. So.
And how do we sign up for, people sign up for?
Call Borough Hall. Yep, and we'll have a sheet for the real ID signups. Some of the other stuff you have to go on their website, on the Motor Vehicle Commission website for you know, registration renewal. Other items that need an appointment, but for the real ID, just call Borough Hall. Which is why we've done this in the past. And again, we've noticed that more and more people are getting their real ID either through us or driving elsewhere. Lastly, and this is something encouraging, the public to continue to do. I had a call actually today from a gentleman who recognized that, there was something, improperly done with our beach lockers. I went up to the beachfront, I saw it myself, he was right. I contacted our Department of Public Works Director, and it's gonna be addressed over the next, day or two. So I would encourage the public, if you see something that you think is done wrong, please give us a call. We do make errors, and we're happy to fix those errors. Again, I encourage people to either email me, call me, text me, and we will do our very best to address it. That's all for me, man.
Thank you, sir. Before we move on to the next item, Matt, I just want to call you out. I'm trying to let people know a lot of folks up here and down on the floor do a lot to contribute to the borough's success. And as small maybe an item as it is, those telephone poles that were leaning over Main Street for the better part of 3 decades seemed like it should have been a simple task. It was anything but. And you and I started this thing a little over a year ago, maybe 2 or 3 months in. We contacted the JCP&L and the DOT and everybody else. And it took a year of you more or less beating your head against a wall. But thank you very much, because thanks to you, we got that done. It feels good driving down Main Street and not seeing telephone poles leaning way out in the middle of the street. So thank you. Okay, we will move on to the mayor and council reports. I'd like to start tonight with our council president.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you, Mayor. The Bradley Beach Tourism had a meeting today and they had a couple of resolutions. They approved Brian Oscaring, the Beatles show, and they also approved some expenses for the coastal kickoff, which will be the soccer festival, World Cup festivities. That'll be June 10th on Newark Avenue on the beach from 4 p.m. to 7. That will include a soccer expo match with FC Monmouth, local sports vendors, huge sports equipment drive, new and gently used to benefit local charities. They'll have a DJ and food trucks and vendors and face painting. So it sounds like a lot of fun. The Bradley Beach Shade Tree had a meeting on May 10th. They had numerous applications. One was 804 Hammond Avenue. They were moving a tree on private property and they will replace it with another tree. 110 Hammond Avenue had a Bradford pear that was ruining the retaining wall. And so they're going to remove that and replace it with a deciduous tree, most likely of redbud, which is nice. It's a native tree here in New Jersey. 410 Brinley Avenue. They're removing a London plane in their planting strip. It looked like it was diseased and they will be replacing that with another tree further away from their sewer access. And then they also, 112 Ocean Park is removing a dead cherry plum in their planting strip and they will replace it with a river birch, another native. And 420 Burlington is tearing down their house and raising the entire lot. So they had some gum trees in the back of the lot and they're going to remove those. But the good news is that they'll be planting 15 trees as a replacement. 133 Lake Terrace had a dangerous tree and it was removed. They also discussed their spring planting, which took place since this meeting, and their Arbor Day, which we attended. And I would like to extend a sincere thank you to the Bradley Beach Shade Tree Commission and everyone involved in the recent planting of 66 new trees throughout our community 2 weeks ago. The commission also celebrated Arbor Day along with the Bradley Beach Elementary students, teachers, our mayor, council members, and the wonderful forestry staff. Several of those 66 trees were planted right on the school's campus, which is a beautiful investment in our students' environment. And the New Jersey Tree Foundation was also joined by 3 members of the NJDEP Forestry Service. Having that expansive breadth of knowledge on site was impressive. Our commission members walked away with some great pointers on the best planning techniques that they look forward to applying at future events. Finally, the Shade Tree Commission would like to extend a huge thank you to our DPW for the incredible support they lend all year, but especially during this massive undertaking. Over the past few weeks, they've removed old trees, dug out stumps, and provided invaluable on-the-fly assistance. And they were out bright and early filling the watering bags on the new trees at Sylvan Lake. So to the Shade Tree Commission, the NJ Tree Foundation, the NJDEP, and our own DPW, thank you for your expertise and your tireless dedication to our tree canopy and making Bradley Beach even greener. Next, the Board of Ed is meeting this evening. They do have some exciting news. For the third consecutive year, the Bradley Beach Education Foundation is awarding its annual scholarship to a graduating senior who got their start right here at Bradley Beach Elementary School. Each year, the Foundation Scholarship Committee connects with our high school seniors, and time again, they see that the strong foundation built at Bradley Beach Elementary School translates directly into high school success. Tonight, we highlight a truly exceptional student, Mia Costantino. Mia graduated as Bradley Beach Elementary School's 2022 valedictorian and now a graduating senior at Neptune High School. Remarkably, she is already a college graduate. Through the intensive Poseidon program, Mia simultaneously earned an associate's degree in social sciences from Brookdale College, all while maintaining a stellar 99 weighted GPA. This fall, she heads to Rutgers University, where she's on track to earn her bachelor's degree in communications by the time she's just 20 years old. Many in town know Mia as a hardworking hostess at Darcy's, where she balances her commitments and always handles herself with the utmost professionalism. On behalf of the governing body and the entire community, congratulations to the Bradley Beach Education Foundation's 2026 scholarship recipient, Mia Costantino. And that completes my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Council President. I'll turn to Councilman Nowicki.
Thank you, Mayor. Our police activity between periods of May 4th and May 17th. On May 10th, Main Street and Springwood Avenue, a 52-year-old male from Bradley Beach was arrested and charged with possession of a controlled dangerous substance. He was also charged with driving under the influence and several additional motor vehicle offenses. Patrolman Daniel Crow made the arrest with the assistance of Sergeant Michael Tardio. On May 10th also, at the 500 block of Newark Avenue, a 30-year-old male was arrested after fleeing from officers on foot during a field contact. Camarado was caught by Patrolman Anthony Badalamenti after a brief foot chase and taken into custody with the assistance of Sergeant Kevin Gale and the Avon by the Sea Police Department. He was charged with theft, possession of an imitation firearm, possession of a weapon, possession of CDS, tampering with evidence, resisting arrest, and obstructing the administration of law. Camarado was charged and later lodged in the Monmouth County Jail. May 14th, 2026, Bradley Boulevard and Main Street, a 32-year-old female from Point Pleasant was arrested and charged with possession of a prescription legend drug, possession of drug paraphernalia, driving under the influence, and several motor vehicle offenses. Patrolman Anthony Badalamenti made the arrest with the assistance of Patrolman Daniel Crow. And then on May 15th, Brindley Avenue and Hammond Avenue, a 62-year-old male from Spring Lake Heights was arrested and charged with driving under the influence of alcohol. He was also issued several motor vehicle summonses. Patrolman Edwin Hernandez made the arrest with the assistance of Sergeant Michael Tardio. And that's the police blotter. Tomorrow evening at 7 p.m. is the Sylvan Lake Commission meeting here in this chambers. So please come on out if you want to learn more about Sylvan Lake. We've talked a lot about it today, but there's a lot happening. And again, the meeting here tomorrow at 7. And then I just want to make mention of our land use board. They've been pretty active. I think this board that we've brought together this year, a lot of synergy, a lot of really great minds working together. We've been able to really exercise some very prudent and great consensus on things that we're doing with zoning and towing the line. And I'd just like to say that I also just recognize TJ Cohn, who is the chair of the land use board. He's done a really great job leading that board and into the future. There's a lot to do with a lot of changing ordinances. And right now, I'm pleased to share that I think it's really going well with that land use board. So that's my report. Thank you.
Thank you, and thanks for your volunteering on that land use board. I'll turn now to Councilman Clark.
Thank you. So the Environmental Commission is planning an event on the theme of invasive plants. By the way, you know, the Bartlett pear trees are an invasive species.
They've now been banned.
They've now been banned.
Yes.
So we also have an invasive species in our maritime forest called the Japanese knotwood. And on May 30th, from 9 to 11 a.m., there's going to be a big knotweed removal party. So it's really taking over the native plants of the maritime forest. We need to cut it by hand. That gets done several times. You have to weaken it before you can pull it out by the roots. So May 30th from 9 to 11 a.m. Also, as a note, the maritime forest was the brainchild of Captain Allen. This would be a great way to honor his honor him after his passing last month. So for the first aid, the operational period ending May 19th, they responded to 16-day calls, 5-minute calls for 21 calls. It's a busy month. And 12 for medical, 9 for fire, 1 motor vehicle crash. Of course, they're always looking for volunteers. They offer free training for qualified individuals and anybody wishing to volunteer. All that information can be found out on the borough's website. They're also accepting applications for their cadet program for young people 16 to 18 years old. Also, additionally, they had provided some medical overwatch for the Tears Foundation Rock Walk that we had. Also, I want to take this opportunity to recognize this week is actually National EMS Week. And I want to thank all of the EMS providers for their professionalism, their commitment. My special thanks to the dedicated members of our all-volunteer squad. And they've been serving Bradley Beach since 1933. For those of you counting at home, that's 93 years. So they're a pretty amazing group of people. That's
it. Thank you, Councilman. Councilwoman Greenblatt.
Thank you, Mayor. The Arts Council has been very busy. They met May 11th. They also met yesterday, May 18th. They're very busy planning their first annual Arts Fest scheduled for Saturday, June 27th at Riley Park. Begins at 12:30 and running through 10 p.m. It'll be an afternoon of live music, interactive arts, dance programming, ballet performance, a gallery opening at Posh Real Estate, and an after party from 6 to 10 at Uva's featuring Sea and Sky songwriters. And among the songwriters is our very own James Maddock. So a call to local Bradley Beach artists. There's still time to participate in the visual art exhibit. Home is where the art is at Posh, which runs from June 27th to July 4th, and an artist opening reception on the 27th. The same day as the Arts Fest. The deadline for submissions is May 31st. Volunteers are needed to help pitch in on the day of the Arts Fest. Please reach out by email to the Arts Council, to their Arts Council email, which is artscouncil@bradleybeachnj.gov, or let me know. No experience is required, just enthusiasm for arts in Bradley. And don't miss 2 new workshops, Ballet for Balance, June 9th and 17th from 10 to 11:30 a.m. at the Fire Hall. Open to all ages, but designed to build strength and balance through the lens of ballet. So thanks to resident Lainey DeFranco, who will be teaching these workshops. And you can see the Arts Council website to register. And the Arts Council will next meet on Monday, June 1st at 10:30 a.m. The Rec Committee. always a lot of activities at rec. Rec met last week, May 11th. Hopefully you've seen the full spread of photos in the co-star from Recreation's first ever Mother's Day flag football, which was held May 8th. Fun was had by kids and moms alike. And next up is Father's Day kickball, Friday, June 19th at the rec field, 6:30 p.m. A $20 entry fee includes participation, t-shirt, and a meal ticket. See the rec website for details and registration. The senior club's next meeting is May 27th, noon to 3 at the Biazzi Center. Mahjong Open Play continues every Friday, 1 to 3 p.m. at the Biazzi Center. New in the Neptune City location is Zumba. Wednesday evening, 7 to 8 p.m., $10 at the door to participate. As with all shared service programs, this is open to all Bradley Beach residents. Spring Bocce Leagues begins the first week in June, 6:30 p.m. with groups on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. Summer Camp 2026 is bigger and better than ever with a robust enrollment. Courtney's managed to accommodate everyone on the wait list and a program that will run at full capacity. The first day of camp is June 29th. And we recently mentioned the camp throwback weekend, so I won't repeat myself. And also there are still a few spots for Marine Science Camp, which runs July 27th to the 31st, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. for ages 5 to 14. And it's at Memorial Park in Neptune City. So come visit the rec center. The playground is filled with children of all ages. The courts are busy and the field is being utilized by baseball and soccer enthusiasts. The rec committee's next meeting is Monday, June 8th, 6:30 p.m. at the rec center. And then my final liaison committee is the Fletcher Lake Commission. They held their last meeting on May 14th. Flowers have been planted by the commission member Sal Galicetti along the Bradley Beach side of Fletcher Lake. A Fletcher Lake spring cleanup event is scheduled for Saturday, June 6th, 10 a.m. to noon. Please join them. Light refreshments will be served. Commission member Bill Grafton has been speaking with Fish and Wildlife to stock Fletcher Lake. First, however, CloNet needs to determine if the oxygen levels are sufficient to support marine life. The commission is looking forward to bringing life back into the lake and support summer fishing. And a reminder that a fishing license is required for all fishing, whether freshwater or in the ocean. One single set of lights are being installed on the westerly aerator in the lake. At the end of the season, they will assess any impact on the lake's biosphere. The bridge rails are about to get a refreshed coat of paint by the DPW and post lights replaced once the painting is done. The commission will next meet on Thursday, June 11th, here in this council chamber. And I'd also just like to announce that thanks to the mayor and support by the borough is dedicating Bradley Beach's first ever sand toy library box located at the Lorraine Avenue Beach entrance. And the dedication will take place this Friday at 11 a.m. It's a community partnership of resident volunteers who help build the box, design the sign, and steward its maintenance throughout the summer. So please feel free to drop your no longer used sand toys in the box for all to enjoy. And that's my report.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Let's see, I've got a couple of quick ones. One, as I referenced earlier, different folks contributing in all aspects of helping our borough succeed and thrive. I just want to give a little call out to our relatively new CFO, Mitch Syme. Without naming vendors or whatever, but Mr. Syme came to me the other day and said, Mayor, I got a questionable invoice here, want to ask you about it. And sure enough, he flagged something that was an inappropriately billed invoice to us. And he had the awareness to not just, stamp his name on it and pass along the invoice. And he helped us avoid spending $22,000 for something that was inappropriately billed to us. So he's not here, but I tip my hat to Mr. Simon. He's just been a great addition, helping us every day, working through, helping us clean things up, get things operating in even more efficiently. I wanted to also recognize our most recent probationary officer, Samuel Forgate. Very impressive young man. Terry, I know you and the chief think very highly of him. And yeah, I don't know if there's anything else you'd want to add, but I thought it was great having him and the support from the PD and his family here tonight.
No, he's a really solid guy. He's proven himself as a class 1 and class 2. He's definitely stood out amongst all the recent people that we've had. So he was a great choice. We're lucky. We thank you guys for, for helping us secure him, because it's a competitive field out there right now. And anytime we get somebody good, the other towns really start trying to poach him. And we don't hold fault, because it's a small town. It's tough for us to hire until there's a retirement or anticipated retirement, which, can be years apart. And to his credit, he had a couple of offers, even at his young age and, limited experience, that were really trying to pull him as a full-time officer. And he turned it down because he wanted to work here. He made it clear that this is where he started and where his brother, and he actually has a twin sister who also worked as a class 1 with us. She was offered to go to class 2, but she opted to go to the Coast Guard and is actually doing very well there. But he turned those other places down, anticipating that there might be a spot in the next couple of years. He was willing to wait a couple of years. Whether it's some of us are hitting that 25, 30-year mark, and things are possibilities down the road. So it was nice that to get him in, because he wanted to stay, but it's tough to hold that line when so many people want him.
I've learned from you and the chief how competitive a market it is, and the fact that he's such a star in the making, and then we were able to retain him largely thanks to you guys communicating, keeping us aware of the opportunity to bring him in full time. So thank you, and thanks to the chief.
Yes, thank you, guys.
I wanted to mention a couple things from the library. They always give me a list of 1,000 things. It's an amazing program that they put together every month. But just coming up over the next few days, even tomorrow, May 20th at 1:30 p.m., Social Security and Retirement Income Planning Workshop. Anyone interested in planning for Social Security and retirement? 1:30 tomorrow. Also, on Thursday, 2 days, May 21st, 3:45. If you have children in kindergarten through 4th grade, and those children want to practice their reading, they can read to a dog, which children love to do. 3:45. That's on Thursday, the 21st. Couple more quick ones. There's a yarn club meeting on May 23rd. That's Saturday at 10 a.m. And on May 27th, as well as June 3rd, June 10th, 17th, go back, check the website if you're interested in learning Mahjong instruction for beginners. The first one, again, Wednesday, May 27th, and then there's a series of other days. What's that?
There are in that word, Mahjong.
I don't know. Mahjong. I've never played, nor have I ever announced it very well, but it is what it is. 250th anniversary for the country. We are in the process of recognizing. July 4th will be the official day, but coming up on May 29th, 9:30 a.m., we're actually going to have a 250th anniversary flag rather, provided to us by the county, and we will do an official flag raising that morning at 9:30 in the morning, May 29th. Public is welcome to join us. It's going to be brief. Maybe we'll have some, Kool-Aid or refreshments, but it's largely a photo opportunity to tell the world Bradley Beach is recognizing our 250th anniversary. County Commissioner Director Tom Arnone will join us, and the county clerk Christina Hanlon will join us. So that'll be fun. If you're in the neighborhood, please stop by Riley Park. And then most importantly, certainly for me and others here in the borough, Michelle Wiley, planning this, Memorial Day weekend is almost upon us, and the forecast suggests rain. So I've already been getting questions. What do we do in the event of rain? The parade on Saturday is also accompanied by vendors on the beach, Saturday and Sunday. That it's very likely that gets washed out. We cannot reschedule it. We can't get a rain date. All the participants in the parade have other plans. All the vendors have other dates and assignments to work elsewhere. So there's if rain is bad, if it's light drizzle or no, or just cloudy skies, we hope to be able to proceed and have some festivities. But Saturday is certainly a risk, so keep an eye on the weather. But there is no rain date. And then on Monday, the actual Memorial Day ceremony that we hold at Riley Park, where we recognize our Bradley Beach's 20 fallen heroes. That is also, threatened by the rain, but we will have, we've secured the firehouse to have an indoor ceremony. We won't have the releasing of doves, and we won't have a lot of the ceremony around that as we go to the police and the fire monuments if we're indoors. But we will have a gathering. Anyone who's interested in attending, just again track the weather. We'll make sure there's an announcement that we might have to move indoors to the firehouse. That concludes my announcements and my comments, and now I'd like to move to item 14 on our agenda, public comments or questions. Yes, sir, Mr. Paramount.
Greg Fehrenbach, 408 Redwood Boulevard. First, I would like to express my appreciation for ordinance 2026-30 that you introduced this evening. I think that is a valuable and important thing to do for the community. Secondly, I'd like to commend the mayor and the council on taking a conservative approach to the funds that were generated from the sale of the church that come out as municipal assets and dedicating them to the defeasance of debt service and the payment for capital purposes over the next several years. I want to be able to correct some statements that were made at the last governing body meeting. What was stated erroneously was that the reason for the need for $350,000 was that, quote, the previous borough's administration did not set aside sufficient funds for the cost of the UFCW settlement. As a longtime member of this taxpaying community, and as one who was intimately involved in the 2024 negotiations, I would like to understand and make the governing body aware of what they may not be aware of the extremely high cost of the UFCW settlement and the reasons why those costs were not included in the 2025 budget. See, in both the 2023 and the 2024 budgets, we reserved sufficient funds to be able to cover a reasonable increase for the UFCW contract based on guidelines from the state of New Jersey and based on regional settlements that have taken place. A total of around $200,000 was set aside from 2023 and the 2024 budgets and were encumbered for the purposes of making those payments. However, the offer that was made within the state of New Jersey guidelines and the market rate was not what was paid out. The contract that was negotiated cost the borough almost 3 times, yes, 3 times what was previously offered by the borough to the union and was reserved in those budgets as stated before. The contract was settled and retroactive salaries were paid before the 2025 budget was introduced and before it was adopted. The governing body had more than sufficient time to have included any additional monies that may have been needed in the 2025 budget. Why is it necessary to blame others for the costs that were incurred under this settlement? And why did the administration and the governing body not fund these excessive costs when all obviously knew what those costs were before the budget was introduced or adopted? The contract was signed on the 9th of April, 2025. The governing body approved it on or about the 15th of April, 2025. The budget wasn't adopted until May. It would have been within your capability to have included any of what those costs were in the 2025 budget. Retroactive salary calculations were completed by April 15th. I'm assuming that's 5 minutes.
It is.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you. I have answers to all of those questions. I'm not going to get into a debate now. Mr. Fehrenbach, you and I actually sat down in my office when I was over there, and I took you through pretty extensive detail of why the earlier numbers that were set aside encumbered. You referenced 200,000, it was almost 300. It was the prior administration encumbered close to 280,000 is what was shared with me as new mayor. That was still half of, you're right. You were saying 3 times, but it was roughly double what was encumbered that we actually had to pay. And I took you through PowerPoint slides showing that the average increase over that 4-year midpoint to midpoint span of the contracts was 3.5%. So what we're not going to debate now, you had your comments, I'll just make my comments, and I welcome the opportunity to talk with you later, is that your comment that the original offers were somehow reasonable. I think your exact wording was reasonably, it was a reasonable increase. You didn't settle a contract for almost 2.5 years, sir. I don't know how reasonable that is. At the end of the day, on an average increase of 3.5% over 4 years, midpoint to midpoint, that by most standards is reasonable. However, it did require an extra $300,000, give or take, relative to what was encumbered. So I'd gladly walk you through those. You and I could go on for a long time tonight. I think we're both better served if we don't do that. I just felt it was necessary for me to at least provide a quick response to your assertions. So be more than happy to meet with you. If anything comes out of that conversation that tells me I'm somehow mistaken, I will gladly address that publicly, admit that I'm wrong. I know I'm not, but I will gladly address that. Yes, sir, you'd like to make a
May I
follow-up?
just respond?
Please.
There are several things that I probably would like to go over with you, but when you have essentially an 11.5% increase in 2023 and an 11.5% increase in 2024, and you have a regional settlement level of about 3.5, and you have a state set of guidelines of 2%, that comes to approximately 3 times, nearly 3 times what was a reasonable offer. When you give a union more things than they ask for, it's very easy to reach a settlement. And when a union believes that they're going to be able to do better in the future than they are in the present, they're going to bide the time to be able to do better in the future.
Thank you, sir, and we should talk so I can show you why I disagree. Yes, Ms. Mehta.
I get more than 5 minutes. Nancy Meadow, Ocean Park condominiums. I'm just gonna say this right out. Thank you for settling that contract. Most of you were here. You did a lot of it. Maybe most of it. My biggest regret is for the employees we lost. Because they had no contract for so long. Mr. Mayor, you took my thunder away. But I'm pleased to learn that there is a Memorial Day ceremony. Because when I looked at where I might look to find out about it, I only heard about it from vendors. So that points to me the dysfunction of our website. And I am, as I've said many times before, the doctor confirmed it, I have no patience. It has gone from bad to worse. And what would I'm told to be patient, what would I could be most helpful would be if I could have a time frame. Because how long do I wait? Now I did see parade signs down at the rec center. I don't know how any of that's related, but let's drop that signage. And Councilwoman Greenblatt, you might want to check on your information regarding the senior meeting, as I received a phone call from the president, and I was told that it's the 20th. And I think I heard you say the 27th.
I'll double check it.
Again, with the website, 2 times in 2 days, I had traffic complications that could have been put on the website. I didn't know McCabe was gonna be closed, and I didn't know Ocean Park was gonna have trucks going west on the east side. Again, a little heads up, we're so small. Great that you're working on the promenade. Can't you just work on these little things? And for years. Well, how many years? How long have we had handicap lockers? 4 years? It's my understanding the ramp's one purpose is for handicapped people. It is my and I mean, motion wise. It's my understanding, one purpose of handicap lockers are for motion. It does not make sense to me to have my ramp on the north side of my steps and my locker on the south side of the steps. Not all ramps are in this, it's not one size fits all. And how many years do I have to say it? But we all know that I will repeat myself and make no apologies for it because I have no control. Regarding the digital presentation, thank you for acknowledging that there are some of us that prefer to pay cash. I'm not clear with that option if the gentleman was saying you still had to register on the app. So if you just want to get a season, I just literally would like clarification. And I really want to, well, Stripe is good, but they get costly. But I really want to point out that we were told Prime Point was free. Calculate the fees you pay them every year. We were told Community Pass is free. Calculate, including the spill list, how much you pay them per year. And then on top of it, we were told Community Pass would not charge locker users. Talk to a locker user who used a credit card, see what they paid. So we could, in my head, be charging more for the locker, because we could take in that money ourselves. So you can do that with the beach badges. I understand the move to not have cash. We're pretty much halfway there. And I know you will pass this. And I think it's a bad move. And I think it will cost us a tremendous amount of money. Maybe not the first year, but again, how can we reverse what's now become practice? You can't. And you have a lot of angry people. And yet they have no choice. And you have people down, he's saying it's security, no. You can just give them the phone, once they're on the beach, they can go leave the beach. and give it to their other person who comes down with the things, the QR code showing. So again, I know you'll pass it, but I beg you to look at your past and consider it. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, sir, Mr. Clan.
Thomas J. Cohen, 612 Third Avenue. Mr. Nowicki, I had a question about this new drainage system you're proposing for coming in from Neptune and our westerly areas. You've mentioned that they had the equipment to maintain it. Do they have a sewer jet vac or access to one? Is that the maintenance factor?
It's a the vacuum truck.
And do we have a shared service on that, or do we own
I
it?
think we have a vacuum truck.
Okay, so you just put that on a regular maintenance schedule and.
Right.
Okay.
I to do today with the catch basins.
Right, yeah, I find it very rich, the previous, two speakers before me. Who couldn't settle a contract in 2.5 years. And you know, he talks about, reasonable increases, but he doesn't talk about the unreasonable offers that were made by him also without any input from the council. That was done under the cover of darkness in a back room, all the negotiations with no council inputs. So, you know, budgets were passed without input from the council at all. And you've done everything transparently. The increases that were given were much needed. These people didn't get bumps for 3 years almost. So I just find it amazing how things work here. You know, there was, we never really could understand what took so long. I mean, there's negotiation is really simple when you have parties that want to do it. Clearly, the previous administration didn't want to settle it. And then to blame it and say, oh, they know it'll be easier to negotiate with the future, that is absurd. And I'm just horrified by those comments. But I did agree with one thing, that I agree with the way you handled the money from the church, because we could never get a confirmation from the previous administration that would be held for capital improvements. And the fact that it is a wonderful benefit to the people of Bradley Beach. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Cohen. Other comments or questions in the room? Anything on Zoom? Any comments or questions?
No.
Okay, seeing none. We will close public comment and move to item 15 on the agenda, which is an executive session pursuant to NJSA 10:4-13. Specifically, we'll address resolution 2026-155 and retiring into executive session to discuss Garrison versus Bradley Beach and Major et al. Versus Bradley Beach. Erica, do we have a time estimate on that?
30 minutes in there.
So we estimate we'll be in closed session for 30 minutes.
Okay, well,
It's just an update. I can't anticipate more than 10
I
minutes.
try to be safe, that's
Yeah,
all.
no more than 10 minutes.
Perhaps no more than 10 minutes. So anyone who care to wait, we will convene momentarily, but roughly 10 minutes. I'll make a motion that we.
Second, Mr. Noble?
Yes.
Ms. Greenblatt?
Yes.
Mr. Hart?
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki?
Yes.
Mayor Gubatoza?
Yes, thank you.
Here.